Alright, starting off hopefully strong. Let's get the game going. Yeah, I'm kind of a little nervous to be doing this official, submission thing, because this is definitely out of my comfort zone, but no, it's something I've kind of been interested in trying to do for a while. So yeah, let's just kind of get right into it. So welcome on into what I hope will end up being the actual fastest first submission video for the Super Metroid / Link to the Past Combo Randomizer. Which, because of how long of a name that is, I'm not going to spend like the 18 syllables pronouncing that every time. So going forward, I'm just going to refer to it as SMZ3, or Super Metroid / Zelda 3. So this game, as a kind of quick synopsis, this game literally combines the two physical games together. You can collect items in Super Metroid that will then be used in Zelda. Like, for example, where you would normally find the Morph Ball, you could find the Hookshot. Or in Zelda, where you would normally find, say, the bow, you can find, like, Plasma Beam. And it basically, like, the entire game can be like that. And there are going to be 4 spots within each world where you can transfer between both games. You'll start off, first thing you'll notice that basically the little kind of pitfall, a little bit of ways into the vanilla start of the game for Super Metroid, will lead into what I believe is the fortune teller's hut right outside Link's house. That's what we'll be doing our first transition. You can kind of see how that works. It's pretty clean setup. Yeah, I cannot talk today. A pretty clean transition. And a phrase I'll be using probably a lot throughout this run is what is called the logic, which is basically the way that the game expects you to be able to progress from one area to another. Now, for example, it's if you need to for anything. What's a good example for this? So, say you need to get to a check that is that's another thing I need to define. A check is basically one instance of an item that is randomized. So it could be something like a beam for Metroid. It could be like a pack of bombs for Zelda. It could be just basically anything that you would normally find as a pickup in either game. So for each check, if it is locked by a certain key item, basically that item cannot be there because the game will expect you to acquire that item within the normal chain of progression, which is kind of how the logic comes into play. Hopefully I explained that properly. I can be a little weird when it comes to explaining things, especially when they're kind of weird concepts, but yeah. So let's go ahead and start getting right. My controller's not on. It would help if I had my controller on. There we go. Now we have a controller on. Now, as you see it directly above me, we have the tracker that contains stats for both games. We have Link to the Past on the very top, and then in the diagonal, we have all the Super Metroid items. We also have the numbers 4 for Mother Brain, and then 7 for the Ganon's Tower and Ganon himself. In the randomizer, you can actually choose basically different numbers for each. So you could make a seed where you only need to fight 2 Super Metroid bosses, or a seed where you'll need to get like 5 crystal strikes at Ganon's Tower and fight Ganon. For the sake of this run, we'll be staying with pretty much the standard full clear for both games, just so we can kind of make the completion time a little more consistent. Because otherwise, the time can definitely vary depending on how the game logic wants to work. So yeah, we'll start off, and you always start off in Metroid because of the way the game is set up. Get my controller settings. For anybody who questions these particular control settings, I will give you a moment to judge me. I'm perfectly fine with this. Alright, judging time is over. Now we'll also turn on Moonwalk, because you can use this to get some little extra fast movement in Metroid sometimes. And so time will start as soon as I hit basically start game, and I have my little... I'm still learning how to point. I'll have my little timer here I can show to kind of show the time and stuff like that. And I think that's currently set as... Oh wait, no, that's not even the right game. I am a quote-unquote professional streamer. Do not mind me. Okay, so that is my average time. Yeah, no, we'll stick with average, just kind of show how it all works. Alright, so we got the average there, and then we got the tracker up here. So there are some things on the tracker I do need to manually update, like basically what the reward for each dungeon is. That's something I have to put in manually, because that's not something because it's completely random within the game itself. It's not a static thing, so I can change it by just like on Tower of Hera. I can just right click and I can make it into a red crystal. I can make it into a pendant. I can make it into a green pendant, or I can make it into a Super Metroid boss token. That's right, the boss rewards are also randomized between the games. So you go in, you defeat the Armos Knights in Eastern Palace. You may find you actually get a Ridley boss token instead. You've technically beaten Ridley at that point. And then likewise, you can find crystals or pendants within the Super Metroid game as well, between Dragon, Ridley, Braid, and Bantu. Yeah, I think that's all of the pre-run things I need to kind of detail. Otherwise, as I go through the game, I'm basically kind of showing you like how I do my routing and stuff like this, how I figure out where to go, when to go, and the various types of tricks that we use in both games to kind of go a little faster or just do some little shenanigans. So let us get going in today's 1, go. Then of course the first 10 seconds are just loading into the game. And we are actually off. So you'll see me kind of moving my arm down, up and down like this. Every time you do that, and this is a trick called arm pumping, every time you move the buttons here, you actually gain 1 extra pixel of movement. Now, it's not a lot like per hit at all, but it does build up over time. It can save you at least a few seconds overall. And so now we go right into Zelda. Now you can go and get the Morph Ball check in Metroid before doing anything up here, but unfortunately that check takes literally 2 minutes to do for literally 1 item. Okay, so we're scouting the item on the island there. It's just a boomerang, so we don't need to worry about that for later. That's one of the benefits of how you can route this. And now Zelda starts off in what is called open mode, to where you do not actually need to clear out the escape sequence. You just start right off in the game as if you had finished that sequence. But all the checks are still there to be eventually gotten. So once we get some proper weaponry, we'll be probably digging down there and trying to find out what items we can get. So we start off with a good bit of money, which is always kind of nice to find early on in the game. It'll let us get the item from the merchant in Kakariko pretty early. And if we find another one, we might be able to do some shenanigans to get into Zora, maybe get his item early. Now, right now I'm setting up for what is called a tree pull. Oh, that's an interesting randomized drop from these guys. Yeah, all enemy drops are randomized, including from these guys, and apparently they drop fairies. So, the tree pulls are probably the simplest way I can say this, is that there are 3 different options you can get from a tree pull. In this case, I got a kind of crappy item of just, 3 rupees. There are 3 different tiers of tree pulls you can get. The first tier is just, if you have less than 4 enemy kills, you just get whatever tier 1 tree pull is. So I'm scouting this item, this is just a red rupee, we do not need to get this later on. If we needed to get that, we would have to fight Aghanim, which is normally not required in the scene. So it's usually good to figure out what you actually do and don't need to complete for later on. But yeah, so tier 1 tree pull is just kill a small amount of things and just do the tree pull. You do need to kill at least 1 enemy for it to work though. Tier 2 is if you've killed 4 or more enemies in a row and you have gotten hit anywhere within that sequence. If you get the tier 3 tree pull, you would have to kill 4 or more enemies in a row without getting hit at all. Now, the vanilla prizes for the tree pulls are green rupees for tier 1, blue rupees for tier 2, red rupees for tier 3. But in this game, it's all randomized. And what we're hoping for is to get some early bombs. We did not get any early bombs. That's unfortunate. Because there are a few checks in Kakariko that do require bombs to get access to, and if you don't get bombs early, you kind of have to abandon them until you actually do get bombs later on. Which is always unfortunate, because you always have to worry about whether or not you had something important that one of those checks, like a bow or boots or something. Yeah, not too much to speak of right now as far as what I've found item-wise. Just a bunch of money so far. We got a whole bunch of chests down here. Now, we could bomb that wall to open it up and get access to another check, but we don't have bombs yet. Oh, we have a glove. That's actually nice to get early on. Cape is interesting. Okay, so we don't have any bombs, so we can't do anything here. Okay, so to beat this game, kind of regardless of what your settings are, you do basically need both gloves in order to get to the end game. The first level gloves on their own don't necessarily do a lot. It's when you compare it with like a hammer or the other pair of gloves to get Titan's Fist, where you have to start going toward like Dark World and stuff like that. But alas, we are kind of limited in what we can do right now. Get some ammo, more money. Yeah, I like how the 2 quote-unquote key items we've gotten so far do basically nothing for us right now. So you spend 100 rupees, you get whatever item he gives you. Usually he gives you like an X amount of money, which I consider to be basically just a coupon. Okay, so since we don't have any bombs yet, we can go ahead and stop into the shop here and pick up a 10-pack for 50 rupees. And also, one thing they do add in the randomizer is the ability to basically change what item is active using the L and R buttons. You basically just go through the list to the right by pressing R, go through the list to the left by pressing L. Did I get it? Oh, I just got chicken in the void. Yeah, it's actually possible to get the chicken entirely into this room if you throw him correctly during that bomb sequence. But more often than not, you'll probably just toss him into the void and he'll never be seen again. Yeah, it doesn't actually do anything, just a fun little swag I like to do. Okay, still not too much to really speak of item-wise. We could go up and get the other two checks with the bombs right now, but we do kind of need to save some of the bombs for an upcoming cave that we need to kill some enemies in. And right now, bombs are literally our only weapon. So we kind of want to maintain that. Come in here, we scout the item, just more money. So that item would be unlocked by having boots. And it would be nice to have that much extra money, but we don't really need it. So we're just going to forget that exists at this point. We're here, about to go through the maze. Spend about, like, 20 or so seconds to hopefully get something useful. You know what? Early on, we'll take a full art container. A little safety net, everybody. Alright, so now we'll save and quit. And when you save and quit, you start off with the option to either go to the Sanctuary, which is where we first started when we saved and quit, or you can go back to Link's house, which does have an item you can collect. There's also 3 hearts in the pots if you want to heal up on health. There's also a 50-50 chance of a bomb popping up in that rock spot, which thankfully we got. We have a little bit extra leeway for the upcoming cave. Now, there are several routes that you could go in order to acquire items. You could have gone like straight up to Hyrule Castle, start doing item collection there, and killing some guards with bombs. You could have head straight east and go to Sahrasla, go basically into his closet and try to get those items along with the Eastern Palace. But I like to kind of go down this way, because there's a lot of utility, especially depending on what items you get. You could actually theoretically turn this into a Zora check as well, if you're willing to do some shenanigans. But from what we're seeing right now, we're probably not going to be going to Zora, even if we do get the money. Because there's a couple extra checks in the Zora area that you would normally need flippers to get to, but there are some other ways you could get in there, but you also need some other side items as well, which we currently do not have. I mean, he'll get it eventually, probably. Just, not right now. We do not need to invest in this business this early. We are shrewd investors. Alright, so hopefully this room goes well. This room can go incredibly horribly. Kinda like that. Okay, this is... Oh god. Okay, that's actually kind of good, because now we don't have to worry about taking damage from anyone in the middle. Not gonna lie, I kind of want that money. I don't really need it, but I want it. Which describes a whole lot of things in life. I don't need it, but I want it. More power bombs, more missiles, more stuff that's not really helpful. Oh! Okay, we got early gravity suit. The one thing that does change with gravity suit in the randomizer is that it doesn't function like it does in the vanilla game, where you actually do not get heat resistance from gravity suit. So if you... Well, that's not supposed to happen. Okay, so let's go ahead and... Yeah, let's try to go back down that path again, because I do want to get the Ice Rod Cave plus the Hobo check, while I try to deal with Eddie blocking everything. Yeah, say hello to my cat, by the way. This is Eddie. He is great at blocking everything that I'm trying to do. I literally cannot see the bottom half of my screen right now. It's a miracle I haven't died yet. Come on. Okay, that one was on me. I saw the comment I chose not to do anything about it. Okay, you also do not want to get hit by those crabs. Those crabs will do 2 full hearts of damage to you on contact. Which at this much health is going to kind of murder you. Just a little bit. Alright, so once we get this check here, assuming we don't die, I can actually show one of the possible shenanigans you can do with this rat. Oh, hell. Okay, yeah. Give me bombs. That's a full restock. Eddie. Oh, God. Eddie. Okay, I do blame Eddie for that one, because I actually could not see what was happening. Okay. not fish, by the way. Those are, I believe those are octoroks, which are basically octopi. Which I don't think qualify as fish. I don't know what they qualify as, but I'm pretty sure they don't qualify as fish. Now I gotta try to not die while only being able to see like 80% of the screen. Okay, success. Alright, so what I'm going to do, because of our current gear and item loadout, we're gonna check... Oh, they needed vacation anyway. Okay, I like how Luigi actually has little goggles when he swims. So yeah, I should have explained that ahead of time. So you can actually do what are called fake flippers in this game, where one way you can activate it is by jumping into the water and within literally the next frame, initiating the screen transition. Because the game only checks for whether or not you have the flippers the second frame after you jump in the water. If you do the transition immediately, you can just swim around like everything's normal. And there are several different setups you can use. I use one that's basically just you kind of walk along the edge of the little wall there. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. If we had money for Zora, we would actually go to Zora. Unfortunately, since we don't have money for Zora, we're not going to go there. So I'm basically kind of preparing for, in case you haven't noticed the title of the stream, I'm actually preparing this to be the submission video for possibly running this at a furry speedrunning event. I'm doing kind of like a little example of how like everything works, kind of how I would address everything, stuff like that. So yeah, kind of doing a little pre-explainer kind of thing. You know what? Let's do it. We can at least still scout out the item on Zora Ledge, in addition to getting these two checks. Also, when you're fake flippering in the randomizer, any hit will kill you. No matter how much health you have, no matter what armor you have, any hit will kill you. Because otherwise, the game kind of soft locks you because it doesn't know what to do with when you get hit by anything. Okay, so no key items in there. And one benefit of this is that we also get an ability called Water Walking, where we can, big surprise, walk on water. Now, if you walk onto land for any reason, you will actually lose Water Walking, so I need to make sure to avoid any kind of grass. Okay, so we just have a full heart there. So nothing overly useful up here. We still don't know what Zora himself is yet. Do I want to... You know what? Let's actually try to do Hyrule Castle. Let's see if we can get some more stuff before heading into a dungeon. Especially when we don't have really too much to work with as of yet. We should be able to have a tier 2 tree hole. Which parts? Moon Pearl was at Hobo. I think it was. Yeah, so actually that means that flippers are actually logically required in order to get the Moon Pearl. Which means that we will not find the Moon Pearl in Dark World anywhere except for one possible spot. So you can kind of use the logic and how you break the logic to help you figure out where an item could theoretically be. As opposed to being like just anywhere in the game to, okay, so it can only be in certain areas. That's one of the benefits of what is called sequence breaking. Basically just getting the items out of the order that's intended by the game. So I'm going to guess that flippers at that point are probably just going to be in Metroid somewhere. Where in Metroid? I have no idea, but they're probably going to be in Metroid. Although I would kind of laugh if we end up finding flippers in Meridia, given that we already have Gravity Suit. Then you can basically swim in both games at that point. And yeah, there are a few enemies that we do have to kill for like small keys and further progression to get through this area. And the only reason I'm going through here is because we have the fact we have like a full set of bombs. Okay, so keep you baited. 2 bombs to take you out. And there's Warp Ball. So now we have proper access to Metroid. Now, we could have theoretically checked the Morph Ball when we first started the game, but that is a 2-minute time to check one item, which is not exactly efficient, so we usually skip that pretty early on. So I think at this point, I'll finish up the Hyrule Castle section down here. I also want to do this. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of different ways you can route. Oh god. Leave me alone. Okay, that kind of worked. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of ways you can route the game depending on like what end you find and when. Okay, bomb capacity is nice, but unfortunately it does not give you current bombs. And we Just trap him there. Alright. Got one more enemy to kill for one more check. Space magic. Enough said. Alright, so I think I will probably... I'll probably go see what I can do in Eastern. We can still get about 5 to 6 items from that dungeon. And then after we figure out what we can do with that, then we'll probably go back to Metroid and start collecting items over there. Do that. Oh, hookshot. Okay, I'm glad I came in here now, because that's a pretty important item for this game. Because not only is it progression for several areas, it's also faster movement in some spots too. Yeah, the ball is basically just next level yoga. That's all it really is. Now, thankfully, we don't actually really need to kill anything substantial within Eastern Palace, so it doesn't matter like how many bombs or whatever weaponry we have. But I can actually show off one little bit of movement tech you can get with the hookshot inside Eastern Palace. It basically saves you a straight transition. But for now, let's go destroy Sarasala's home. That he is lovingly crafted with all these torches. Loot. Loot. Your stuff sucks. I'll be doing that once I find out what's in Eastern Palace so far. I think it's nice to get a few extra quick checks in Zelda in case we get like maybe like plasma beam or various sort of like space junk. Anything else to make the initial part a little more convenient. Yeah, especially anything that's available from the very start, it's usually a good idea to get all those first. Just for the sake of, like I mentioned, convenience. So we have to dodge these balls. Yeah, they come out randomly on either side for the first 8 shots, and then they have like this ginormous ball that kind of pops out and like tries to flatten you. Okay, compasses do us no good. Yeah, every dungeon has a map and compass. In the randomizer, they do absolutely nothing. All they do is just make you have to check more chests in the dungeon, which usually is something you don't want to do. And so the little time save we can get with hookshot here is that we can go down instead of up, and then we can just hookshot right to the chest, and we get 50 bucks. Not the worst thing to get, but definitely not the best thing to get either. Also, hookshot is amazing at stunning a lot of enemies, making things just generally safer and more easy. Now we're hoping to get the big key in the next chest, so we can just get the we need to hopefully get the big key in the next chest, so that we can get the big chest on the way to the other chest. That almost seems like a tongue twister. Anyway, come on, big key. I guess we'll take armor. Yeah, I'm not gonna be surprised by that. But yeah, we're hoping to get the big key in that chest there, because otherwise this chest is locked, and it would be much more convenient to get that big chest now. But unfortunately, we have to kind of sweep back for that later on after doing this next couple checks. And so you'll notice that this room is completely dark. That's because we do not have the lantern yet. However, if you know the layout of the dungeon, you don't really need a lantern. And it just effortlessly shapes through the room. Yeah, there are still some dark rooms I don't have any capacity of actually doing them without actually seeing anything, but a good chunk of them I can actually do at this point. Do a little damage boost, so we don't have to worry about killing all the enemies. And we got the big key in its vanilla location. Because the randomizer only when it wants to be. Usually if you don't have Darkworld access by a particular point, which is a little harder to tell in SMZ3 just because of how much extra stuff you have available. And actually, we can do back of escape before we go to Metroid. That's a good quick 3 easy checks. But yeah, usually what you would need Agassi for is if you don't have access to Dark World. By the time you've got basically as much of the game's explored as you possibly can. Which again, it's harder to really have set up in SMZ3 because you have so many other ways to get to different areas. In fact, even some of the portals from Super Metroid into Zelda will actually bring you out to Dark World. So Aga is usually not required. Okay, nothing useful. Alright, so we'll save and quit. And with the Randomizer, you can actually do the LR start and select to reset the game. And this will bring you right back into Metroid. Yeah, it's one of those things where you never really know if it's gonna be, if it actually is supposed to be an Agassi or not until you get to that point. Yeah, sometimes it seems obvious that no, this is not gonna be the play, but then it ends up being the play. Alright, so I'm gonna try to do a couple of kind of precise wall jumps to get up to this area. There we go. That does take a lot of practice to get used to, because it's kind of an annoying set of jumps. But they're both practically pixel perfect. But you can get kind of a good rhythm for it and kind of explore a bit. Now, in order to do this sequence, you do need to have at least 10 power bombs if you don't have regular bombs. And you also need more ball. And thankfully, we'd also have Gravity Suit available as well, so we do take less damage from, like, all this stuff in here. But yeah, the acid will still do a crap ton of damage to you. Without any suits, the acid will actually do a full tank of damage to you every second. So it's best you don't get hit by any of that. Oh, Fire Rod. We will definitely take that. Yeah, Fire Rod is almost always a required item in the Link to the Past randomizer, so it's always good to find that. Oh, that's not what I wanted to have happen. Oh, we made it. Yeah, it's definitely kind of a treacherous area if you're not used to all the movement stuff like that, but if you have a little patience, you can get through that without really too much issue. And here we got just pieces of heart. We do not need either of those. Now we'll just come down through here, pick up the power bomb drops from these guys, because they always drop power bombs if you're not at max power bombs. You can use that to get a guaranteed refill, which is nice. And we pick up more power bombs here. We have a lot of missiles already. Just blow right past these guys. And also, if you can actually choose to have a random number of boss tokens and Ganon's Tower and Ganon requirements, stuff like that. For Super Metroid, if you have the random selected, you want to find out how many bosses you need, you can just progress through that door to the right there and go to the entrance of Turian, and there'll be a number just above the door that tells you how many boss tokens you need. In this case, we do need all 4 like vanilla, so there's really no point in checking it. But that is something you can do if you have like less than that number. Oh, I missed. Oh, why are you being a troll? Thank you. Now we're going to do a mock ball, which you can do by basically getting a running start, and then morphing down to morph ball just before you make contact with the ground. It basically gives you enough speed to be able to actually get past those little speed gates, which is always nice. Okay, nothing useful here. I already forgot what the item was, but there was something underneath that bridge that we're definitely going to be going to get. All the way up here. More missiles. Oh yeah, Shark Beam. Okay, so if you get in here, you do have to use a bomb of some kind to get out. You can soft lock in certain sections of Metroid if you're not completely careful, so that is something to keep an eye out for. That room being one of them. You can use regular bombs just fine, but in this case we don't have regular bombs, so power bombs are all we had. If we're out of those, that'd be a reset. Yeah, Link to the Past is still pretty forgiving about like in the event that like, you die or get soft lock, stuff like that, because you can always just save and quit out. Metroid does not have that option. Metroid is, you die, you lose progress. You always want to be a little more careful when you're in Metroid for, like, everything. Oh, that's not supposed to happen. Alright. Run through this area. Nope. Yeah, if you ever get, like, caught by these guys, you have to aim a missile straight upward and not be moving, and you can destroy them with, like, instantaneously. They don't do a lot of damage to you, but if they gang up on you, it will stack up pretty quickly. And we do about 5,000 wall jumps. Get into here. We do another mock ball here, if I get it right, to get through this gap without falling down the pit again. Which is one of my favorite little pieces of movement, because it is very time-consuming getting back up again. Yeah, there's a quick way you can get through this area and use like mock ball moves super fast. I have no idea how the muscle memory for that is supposed to work, so I just kind of just run through things and let myself get bonked. But there are ways around that if you actually want to look it up. But I do not know them. At least not yet. And also, these big little side hopper guys, they will actually go down from a super missile and a single pellet shot. Yeah, most people would probably spend like 2 super missiles on these guys. You can actually save a super bite by just doing that. Okay, so still nothing of value. Now we'll take E-tanks. Never hurts to have more health. And now we can also do a little trick here to get to the reward for being Spore Spawn without actually fighting Spore Spawn. If you get yourself in the right position, you can actually get the super missile to go just fast enough to skip part of the screen transition and actually hit the super missile block. Now we can get the reward for Spore Spawn without ever knowing Spore Spawn exists. You know what? 300 rupees is not something I'm going to turn down. Just because it's always nice to have the Zora money for the next time you happen to get in that area. That. We're going to be doing another trick up here called a gate glitch, which you can basically activate a glitch from the wrong side using particular movements and aiming of missiles. So in this case, we need to get a super missile, and there's different setups based on what you have. In this case, you want to... Yeah, so when you hear that little whir sound, that means you know you got it. You have to kind of time your position and movement in a very specific way and then fire a super missile at the right spot. We will always take silver arrows. I don't care what kind of player you are, I don't care how deep you are in your seed, you always take silver arrows. But yeah, you can basically get the missile to kind of skip the gate for the hitbox, and then it'll open the gate for you. Typically, you can only do that with gates that unlock from the left side. This is the only exception, it's just because of the unique circumstances that are behind all of it. I'm hoping we can get either bombs or power bombs here. Or sword. Sword works too. Now, there are 2 paths that you can go through this area to get further progression. You can go up through the power bomb door to the upper right of this room here to get back to basically where the vanilla North Ball check is. Or you can just head straight down and go toward the rest of the game, basically toward like Upper North Fair and Red Tower. Now, I like to have at least 10 power bombs for this to make sure I can actually get everything all at once. Since we don't have that, I'm going to be holding off in that area and hopefully either coming back later for it, or not coming back at all because we happen to be in go mode. I'm hoping there's nothing of importance there. Which is going to be kind of difficult because I think there's like 6 or so checks you can get, maybe a little bit more than that. Alright, so in this case, since we have gravity, I'm actually going to come up this way. Because we should be able to pretty easily take care of Phantoon with the ammunition that we have. Take a little safety strat and just kind of blow these guys up. As well as blow up the little platform here so we can get up. Normally you need Ice Beam to turn those guys into little platforms. And you're not supposed to get eaten by the plant, but you know, that's just how we roll at this stream. Yeah, there's a lot of fun little movements you can do with Super Metroid once you kind of get used to all the mechanics. Oh, come on. Oh, please. Samus, do your cool thing. Let's see if I can get these damage boosts. Nope. Yeah, there's actually... I hate the freaking plants. Yeah, you can actually get a damage boost to quickly get yourself across the room without having to worry about anything else. But it's kind of hard to get set up. Oh, Titan's Mitts. Okay, Titan's Mitts are good. In fact, with the Moon Pearl, that gives us access to almost everywhere in Dark World. But at that point, we do not need to fight Ganon, or Aghanim, I mean. This is not an Agaseed, which is always the word you want to hear when it comes to anything Link to the Past related. Mainly because the tower to get to Aghanim contains literally 0 items. there'd be no reason you would ever actually want to go in there. Some supers off you. Oh, do not fall down. That would be ill-advised. And maybe if I actually had some good movement, that would work too. Yeah, you can lay a quick power bomb on these guys, it'll just blow them all up. You do have to wait a second after you plant the bomb, because otherwise the bomb will actually not hit all the enemies properly and won't kill them all. Which you do need to do in order to actually get out of the room. Yeah, because otherwise the story here kind of just stays grayed out. Yeah, we're currently making our way toward Fantoon and the wrecked ship. Which we can't necessarily collect every item in this area with the items we got, but we can at least see what everything is. You know, if we have to come back later for it. Let's go and get that door down there open up now. Yeah, game lag makes a certain movement and inputs a little hard because it just makes everything feel awkward. So this can be kind of another precise trick we have to do. It basically involves getting a certain jump. We try to get lined up here. Actually, I suppose we don't necessarily need to do this because we have Gravity Suit. But I always want to show this off because it's just so cool looking. So you can basically do like a couple of very precise jumps, including a wall jump off that platform there as you're falling through it. Okay, I cannot get this set up. Yeah, this is a paraphrase. Eddie? Eddie, what are you doing? I felt a little shudder. Oh, that's too early. I'm not going to try this too much, because I do want to try to save a little bit of time. Well, we'll give it like a few more tries. I would like to jump game. You have to get a very precise setup for... There we go. Maybe. Yeah, we got it. That is referred to as the continuous wall jump, where you basically continue with a single horizontal direction the entire time and still manage to get a wall jump. That is one of the several ways you can actually get to this area early. And of course, having gravity makes it very, really... It's a good thing I had power bombs. That would have been stuck otherwise. Wait a minute, I don't know if I have the ammunition for all this, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, because we need actually more power bombs. Okay, I should have... Well, we can still technically get through here. Yeah, I don't normally come through when I'm this low on current power bombs, which I should have considered. That one is in fact on me, I'll take the hit on that one. We can at least get this. Okay, I was hoping that'd be more power bombs. Alright, so if nothing else, we can just go back to the ship, refill, and then come back here. But yeah, this is unfortunately a bit of a time loss because I wasn't fully thinking. This isn't a route I typically do with kind of this little ammunition, but it kind of felt like a better idea at the time. Maybe a bit less so now. On the plus side, I can actually show you another way with another trick to be able to get up to a wrecked ship without having to do the continuous long jump, as long as you have Gravity Suit. But yeah, the benefit of the continuous long jump is that you need literally no items to do it. You just do it. Yeah, we'll go to the ship and refill. It'll also give us a chance to save, which we haven't actually done in-game for a while. And in Metroid, you definitely want to save whenever you feel like it's been a while. And of course, if you don't have power bombs, you have to actually take the long way up. Spin, please. Spin to win. And unfortunately, we don't have access to the ship power bombs check, just to the upper right of here yet. Because we have no form of flight, which will be qualified as either having space jump or bombs, because you can do what's called infinite bomb jumping to give yourself basically infinite height. Although it is kind of a consistent and usually a long-standing set of inputs you have to do to make it all work. Use that to get this open. Zoom in through here. Alright, so I'll just show off the other way right away. So if you have Gravity Suit, what you can do... Alright, those are silver overlap bombs. So what you can do is, when you're in water, you open up the menu, and then just before the screen fully fades out, you press and hold jump. You turn off Gravity Suit, and you get water physics in your favor. So you can actually make that entire high jump, which normally you wouldn't be able to. You can do that in several sections in Meridia as well if you want to progress without having like space jump or anything like that. It does make things nice and convenient. That was too early to jump. And whee! Alright. Now we're back on track. Yeah, one of the reasons I am doing this check super early is the fact that usually Phantoon is kind of a scary boss when you don't have like any proper weaponry. But when you have Gravity Suit, you basically take like almost no damage from him, so it's a pretty safe fight at that point. Yeah, part of the thing is we also need like a bunch more like super missiles and power bombs that can get through everywhere. Oh. Okay, still got it. And now we have Phantoon. Yeah, he's only vulnerable in like certain sections of his attack phase. And if you ever read the guide for Nintendo Power on how to fight this boss, Nintendo Power will tell you to use super missiles. If you care about saving time, you do not use super missiles. Because every time you hit him with a super missile, he goes into basically like an enraged phase that takes 20 seconds, and he is invulnerable during that sequence. So usually what you want to do is you want to just layer in with a billion missiles. So two there, get him set up for what's called a Doppler, that's actually a decent Doppler. I don't know necessarily why it's called a Doppler, but if you can fire missiles that hit him within, I believe it's a 10-frame window, and keep that up, you can actually just layer a whole bunch of missiles onto his face and keep doing damage. Whereas otherwise, once he takes a certain amount of hits, he just disappears and goes into other modes. You can use that to make basically take off a few attack cycles. Okay, that was kind of crappy, but we still got 2 missiles out of it, I think. We should be at 13 hits right now. So we would need 6 more missiles, then 1 more super to do like the quickest kill. I think we're probably gonna have a 4th phase, unfortunately. I'm not consistent enough with the Dopplers to be able to get like the guaranteed 2 or 3 cycles. And 2 cycle is possible if you're like really, really, really good. Even like the highest level practice, so I should be back with all consistency. Okay, yeah, 1 more cycle. Then we should be good. And yeah, if you recognize these patterns, you can actually kind of preempt. Oh, we didn't even need the super. Nice. Yeah, you kind of preempt his attack phase and get him to trigger early. Now just gotta wait for everything to open. Okay, so we got a Ridley boss token for fighting him. Now, I believe, yeah, even though we didn't technically beat the Phantoon, we do still have access to the rest of Wreck's ship. It's kind of a nice thing, because that way you can actually still continue your normal route. There is a way you can just do a jump into a morph ball in that section, but it is very tight, and I'm not the most practiced with that, so it's usually just faster to just do the bomb and get it over with. Here, some more items. We did not need those bombs. Yeah, one thing I do like about this randomizer is that it also does get rid of the 7-second fanfare for every Super Metroid item you pick up. Because otherwise, if you picked up every single Metroid item in the course of a run, that'd be literally 700 seconds worth of fanfare you have to wait for, which is over 10 minutes. Also, bow. Hail to the yeah. Okay, so now we can actually do some more extra exploring over in. Okay, so what we want to do here. There is one check that's past that door that takes kind of a lot of time to get back if there's absolutely nothing there. We're going to prepare a save file right here. And then in the event that this next item is completely useless, we can just reset and go back to the save point, and it's a lot faster. Although I just realized I actually have none of the items required to even make that possible. So never mind, we're not doing that. Yeah, you need either high jump boots, speed booster... Actually, no, we have gravity. What am I thinking? Yeah, because normally there's water in that room that kind of weighs you down and makes you unable to make the particular jump. But since we have gravity, water is just literally nothing. We just jump up here. Now, you do want to be careful in this room, because if you turn just the wrong way on these platforms, you will actually fall through it. And I've had the game, like, literally kill me with 3 full tanks of health by doing that. I don't know how that works, but it somehow does, and I do not like to lose a save file because of that. So just give you a little forewarning if you ever try to do something like that yourself. And another benefit of having gravity is that we can just do this and not have to worry about any of the actual puzzle. Okay, 50 rupees there. We do not need that. So we reset, load up the save, and we're back in game in the span of like 10 seconds. As opposed to the like 40 or so it would take to actually go back the long way. And also, you know how they say that the walls are just suggestions? So are ceilings. Yeah, it's basically a bit of a manipulation of the hitbox for Samus and the ceiling that makes that work. Now, we do have to take care of all the enemies in here before we can unlock any of the doors. I would like to get more super missile drops, but it doesn't look like we're going to be getting any of those. Now, we also have to make sure we open the doors before we leave the room, because otherwise we have to re-kill the enemies to get the doors unlocked. That's why we start off with a little bit of the right, go all the way to the left, open the door, and then go all the way back to the right for the actual item. Also, another thing that Gravity Suit does not give you, that it would in the vanilla game, is it does not give you any reduction to environmental damage. So these little, like, green sparks, they're doing their full damage to me as though I had just the regular power suit. Oh, okay, Lantern is actually good to find. Because not only is it a cheap fire source for Link to the Past, it also lets us see in dark rooms. Which gives us what basically was referred to as logical progression through dark rooms. And the pesky little thing called logic that sometimes it rears its ugly head. Okay, so the next item here we're currently not able to get because we would need speed boost to get to it, but we can sneak a peek at it with just basically being here. Because you can use power bombs to open up the block that normally hides it. Oh, there we go. Alright, see what's here. Okay, nothing important. Yeah, you always want to see nothing important in the checks you actually can't get to at the immediate moment. I'm actually amazed that pellet still existed to hit the door. Yeah, the shots will disappear at a certain point once they go off screen. Because the way that the... Actually, okay, so there is an item up here we can get. But it's also kind of slow if I can't do a particular set of wall jumps. Actually, I don't think I can reach that guy. So this is another thing that sucks about not having any kind of flight wall here, is that you have to actually wait for this little guy to go to where he needs to go. And like I just mentioned, if the sprite is not on screen, it doesn't exist. So he doesn't move forward unless he's on screen, which is why I'm doing all these kind of random-looking jumps. I'm trying to make sure that he's aware that he needs to be doing things. Wow, that's the first time I've ever actually moved through him like that. Normally he's fairly solid. And yeah, normally you're expected to be able to get onto a third one of these guys that's like just above us, which we cannot reach because we don't have space jump or high jump. But you actually don't need that. If you crouch and then jump, you actually get a little bit more extra height, and we can utilize this to get just enough height to be able to pick up the item that's here. Which is Cane of Burna, which is not a progression item, but it is a convenient item to have in some circumstances. We don't really need that E-Tank, we're probably going to be getting more accidentally anyway. So let's save a little bit of time. Yeah, for the most part, you never really have to worry about picking up, like, certain amounts of missiles or super missiles in it for Metroid, because just with the nature of the way Link to the Past is set up, you're gonna get those by accident anyway. If you can just tell by the fact we started with 45 missiles at the very start. Then we get to watch everybody, or the Chozo's favorite sport, bowling. Although they do have their own unique spin on it. Like, for example, as you are about to witness from this particular children's statue, you are allowed to walk into the lane. Yeah, the approach itself takes about maybe 5 miles or so. And also, if you're really skilled, you can actually go into the floor. Yeah, who even needs pins anyway? Just go underneath them. It's speedrun strats. Even the statues are speedrunning, which kind of tells you a lot about this game. Yes, the statue gently holds you like order. Okay, we don't need those bombs. We know the item above is not something we need anyway. I mean, this is an old children's statue. He can't run like he used to. Age affects everybody, no matter what kind of species you are. I only believe one of them. I wasn't a complete monster. Just mostly a monster. Okay, I didn't mean to do that kind of weird, like, 1 pixel jump there, but it kind of worked out. Alright, so at this point, we'll actually go back through the start of the game. We get all the items out there on the way back down toward Upper Norfair. That would be good to get a full refill on our ammunition, too. Down here, get refill and save. And one of the benefits of refilling in the ship as well is that if you have any reserve tanks, it does also fill those, so it's definitely a great safety to come here. Especially considering you can do the LR select start at any time to reset and go back to here. Although if you do the LR select reset, or yeah, if you do that sequence of reset while in Metroid, you will lose any progress from your last save, so that is something to keep in mind. But if you're doing the reset from Link to the Past, as long as you've saved and quit recently, you're good to go with however you want to do it. Also, we have not gotten Bomb Frizo yet. We'll probably do that. Also, if I remember right for the SMZ3 rando, if you do not have bombs collected, you actually do not get the Chozo statue fight in this room. As long as you don't find bombs, you don't need to fight it. Unless they took that out. Okay, no, so they did actually patch that. Okay. I know in the previous version of this, before this came out back in, I think it was like May or so, in the previous version, if you didn't have bombs at all, didn't have to worry about this fight. But I guess they took out the little exploit. Any health. Didn't really need to pick any of that up, but oh. I can also show a little bit of a quick way to be able to exit this area without having to have bombs or anything. It's another one of those cases where you need like a couple, not as precise jumps, but they are kind of tight and a little bit hard to get used to. But you can just do some wall jumps to get out of there, like, completely effortlessly. Look at what's in here. Yeah, for the SMZ3, it's definitely good to have a full knowledge of where, like, every item is in both games. There's a total of 216 checks within Link to the Past, and a total of 100 checks within Super Metroid, for a total of 316 items/checks/locations to work through. And now I can show you the Moonfall, which is why we turn on the moonwalking. So it's kind of a complicated setup, but basically if you moonwalk, turn around and then jump, you fall without any maximum fall speed. So you pulled out that entire sequence in the span of like 2 seconds, whereas normally it would take like 7 or 8. Eh, we don't need missiles. Okay, this is the last little hover step, but I got most of it. And I missed the last one because I actually forgot to do it. But yeah, like I said, there's a lot of little kind of mini movement text you can use in this game to go faster or just do cool things. There's even a way to do all of Meridia without ever having Gravity Suit. Which, to me, sounds like the literal definition of hell, so I've basically refused to learn it. But it is a thing that exists if you ever feel, like, masochistic enough to go through with it. And also, you can get this item here without having high jump. Oh, Plasma. Yeah, just get a little damage boost into there. Now we have the strongest beam in Metroid. Okay, so we can also bomb this up. Get access to... If we can jump. Come on. There we go. Get that open. Okay, I broke that tile open so I could have easier wall jumps, and then it just got harder. I didn't jump. But thankfully we have gravity suits, so it's actually easy to get back out of that water. Yeah, if you don't have gravity suit or high jump boots and you get stuck down there, you have to do kind of a specifically timed jump, like a duck jump, and then with a little down button to kind of lower your hitbox in order to actually make it into the doorway. Okay, so there's nothing important in the Billy Maze room. And the reason that room is called the Billy Maze room is because that second item, it basically becomes a, but wait, there's more, kind of check available. But in this case, that more was actually less. So unfortunately, Billy Maze lied to us. And I believed in him, too. Also, it gave Plasma. Plasma is just amazing. It literally goes through enemies and just annihilates them. Plus, if you happen to get the... Okay, so we do have Charge Beam. Also, we don't need that shield. So if you have Charge Beam, X-Ray, and Plasma all together, you can actually do what's called microwaving on some bosses, and it just makes them, like, super easy and, like, not a pain at all to actually defeat. And it's also very cheesy looking, and I love it. So hopefully we do find X-Ray at some point so I can show that off. All the zoomies. Yeah, kind of one of the benefits of running this kind of randomizer during like a charity event as well is that there are plenty of times right now where there's not really too much going on, where you can actually read like a decent number of donations while I try to get to the next check and hopefully find something useful. And if I don't find something useful, well, that's more donations to read. It is a win-win. So it's actually possible to be able to jump off that crumble block before it fully crumbles, so you can kind of wall jump back into that little pit. But it is a very precise window, and it's even harder to do when you can't see where you're falling. But I have done it before, and it's just amazing when it works. Alright, so we could head into Meridia right now, but we don't really have enough movement items to make it very efficient. I'm going to try to hold off on that one while I can. And there's a bunch of other easier tricks we can do in the meantime as well. In fact, this room, you don't even need high jump. You can just run up and wall jump off of that. I think that's something even I did as a kid before I even knew what like speedrunning or anything like that was. It's nifty. How did that not go through the door transition? This one is like literally one pixel off. Find out what's in here. We do not need that. Hey, we've got a refund on the power bomb. Nice. Alright, so this next boss, there is what is called a quick kill that you can do to basically take Kraid out without ever seeing him actually stand up at all. It's not too precise, but it does require a little bit of kind of consistent timing to make work. Let's see if I can actually get it this time. I've had pretty good luck lately, but now that I've said that, I'd probably jinx myself. Do the boss dance. Nope. Okay, Kraid himself screwed that up. He fired way too early. We can kind of wait for him to reset, he'll move forward, reset everything. There we go. We got the quick kill. Yeah, if you basically shoot his face at a certain point, and then fire missiles into his mouth at certain points, his jaw just kind of like hangs open like that for longer than normal, and you can actually get all 4 super missiles that you need to just take him out entirely. And then he never stands up, he never gets a chance to. Yeah, there's an example of a damage boost that lets you fly pretty fast across the room if you get the timing right. Yeah, the damage boost is easiest to do against spikes because you have basically a 10-frame window to press jump and then the opposite direction to fly back like that. With enemies, I believe, depending on what enemy it is, it's anywhere between a 4 and 7 frame window. So harder, but not necessarily impossible. It does take a little bit of getting used to the timing, though. Okay, powder is nice. That'll let us turn anti-fairies into fairies in Zelda, plus give us access to one check. This is well once we get the hammer. Or actually, the mirror would also kind of work for that, too. Next, we do have access to Dark World right now. Alright, so we can do a few things with shenanigans down here as well. First, what we're going to do is we're going to check the vanilla high jump boots, which gives us access to 3 items right there. And after that, we can do a little bit of basically what are called hell runs. So you go through heated rooms without actually having various, so you're taking constant damage through them. Scout this item, just 20 bucks. Not the biggest deal. And heart piece, also not the biggest deal. I'm actually not sure if it's faster to go up or back down through this area. I think probably in the regular Super Metroid Rando, where you would also have the full fanfare, it's probably faster to go down. But since it's basically no fanfare at all, really, I think it's probably about equal for both directions. And we can come down here to scout what this item is, even though we don't have access to it yet. Okay, so we don't have to worry about picking that up, because this is just arrows. Get up there. Alright, so we'll do a quick save here, just to make sure we don't kind of screw things up too badly health-wise. Now, the checks I'm about to do here are what's considered out of logic. Since we're not expected to be doing these yet, we technically shouldn't be getting these. So if we happen to get something that gives us access to somewhere, like, actually, kind of a good example would be if we happen to find flippers in one of these rooms. That means we actually need to have various suit in order to get access to flippers. You get? Yeah, that'd be our access to getting the moon pearl from Boba. So then that further kind of cuts down where we know certain items would be. I hope I explained that right. It kind of doesn't feel like I did, but yeah, I'm sure there'll be plenty of opportunities to do that. Oh, okay, we'll take that. That is in fact our flight. That is definitely not an OP keep. Yeah, it's not strictly a progression item, but it's just way too convenient not to take and keep. Oh, almost damageless. That'd have been cool. Alright, so we can scout the item in here. If you go too far, you'll actually fall into the tumble blocks down there, and you fall down this massive pit, which is very much a pain to get back up. We're taking quite a bit of damage here, which is unfortunate. Actually, can I get another power bomb? Okay, so now we do have access to what's called a crystal flash in case I get too low on health. Although I need to use a power bomb to get out. So we don't have access to that. Let's see if we can get another power bomb. I do like the idea of safeties. Oh. You know, I'm actually willing to redo this room just to get another power bomb. Or actually 2 at this point, because now we have to re-power bomb to get back out. There's a power bomb. There's a power bomb. Okay, now we do have enough for the crystal flash if we actually need to. And the crystal flash is a quote-unquote secret technique that you can use to basically give yourself a full heal. Oh my bad. Why am I bad? Okay. Yeah, you can use crystal flash, and in order to use crystal flash, it'll consume 10 missiles, 10 super missiles, and 10 power bombs. Plus 1 power bomb that you need to actually set it off, so technically it requires 11 power bombs. And what you do is you basically get into a morph ball state, hold L, R, down, and then press and hold Y. And as long as nothing moves you, or you don't like move yourself at all, you basically get into like this kind of like shiny ball of healing that will just constantly heal you up to max for the entire duration. Now, if you do that while in a lava or like in a heated room like this, You'll still technically be taking damage, but the healing goes faster than the damage. You'll still gain health overall. But yeah, it will start taking back down as soon as you get out of that state. Okay, just bomb. We don't need to worry about that. Get these ready just in case. Yeah, we should be... I can actually show this off in the next room, because I'm definitely going to heal before doing anything else. Okay, so you also need to be at 50 health or less with nothing in your E-tanks. So, get into a warp ball, hold down L and R, press and hold Y with the power bomb selected. Oh, okay, I forgot about the drop there. Okay, so yeah, if you move for any reason from your original spot, it will not activate. Now if we do this, now it activates and we actually heal up. Yeah, we don't have any soup or... Okay, I like how I actually still had power bombs selected even though I didn't have any. Actually, the first time I've noticed that. Oh, and there was an E-tank down there. I used my ammo for nothing. I am disappointed. Okay, we should be safe to go through this area without having to worry about health. We got, like, plenty of gear. Oh. Bombs. Mirror. That is in fact required. So that's 2 items we've gotten out of logic so far. We got mirror and moon pearl out of logic. Yeah, we are not playing the seed the way it was intended, based on the way the randomizer set it up. Alright, so I will be doing a little bit of health farming in this section here, just to make sure we have enough health to get in and out. Especially with not having speed boost to actually go through this room pretty quickly, which you're supposed to have and actually get at this point in the vanilla game. I think it takes about an E-tank and a half one way. Maybe 2, I actually forget what the exact number is. This will also kind of let us get back some ammo as well, which is also kind of a nice thing. But once my health bar gets full, then I'll just go down and we can kind of track together how much health it actually takes to go across. Because I believe the actual room that you pick up speed booster is not considered heated. You can use that as basically a spot to kind of like stop and think about what you need to do next if you need to get to that point. Alright, so we're at full tanks and 61 energy. Okay, so about 2 E-tanks to go one way. Okay, this is a heated room, never mind. And it's all for arrows. But at least one benefit is that if you do not have speed boost when you come out of this room, the lava will not rise. You can use this to just kind of sort of casually scroll back up while you're like burning alive. And we do probably want to re-figure our re-heal up here. Then there's one more set of heated room checks we can do before we have to head back out. In fact, we can also kind of sequence break our way to get into another boss area as well, which gives us 4 more checks. Actually, I think maybe 5 more checks. Which will also show off another trick, basically another version of the gate glitch that I kind of showed off earlier with one method. Then I can show you the other method with this one. So get that open, and then yeah, try to be as full health as possible to get through. Yeah, we should have plenty of health for this next section, especially with the space jump and plasma. Actually, no, we don't need to do the gate. Oh no, it's up ahead we need to do the gate glitch. Here we don't need to worry about any kind of glitch or anything like that. We just proceed through the area as though nothing was wrong. You know what, we'll take super missiles. Super missiles are the preferred method to defeat Ridley, at least, even if you have like the full beam combo. Just because it's a lot more efficient that way. Back up here. Yeah, I'll take that help. Why not? Alright, let's see if we can do... It's gonna be hard to kind of explain this as I do it. Oh, we actually got the glitch, but we didn't hit the trigger. We have to do some refueling here to make sure we have enough health. But yeah, with the right positioning and timing, you get the Super to go just straight through the gate and be able to hit the actual opening trigger. Unfortunately, I just happened to miss it. I fired it just a tad too late. Yeah, it's basically something to do with the way that the Super Missile accelerates when you first fire it and where the weapon spawns based on the position of Samus's arm cannon. Okay, this should be good right here to do a couple more tries. We only need to do this once. There it is. Yeah, it's definitely a finicky trick, but it does work, and with a fair level of consistency when you get used to it. Alright, for the sake of safety, we'll do a quick heal here. Actually, one of the cool things is that with this boss, because we have charge and plasma, I can show you a quick kill you can do with him. And all it takes is one shot. All you have to do is have plasma and charge. Charge up the shot. And then fire his own mouth. Now, because plasma does damage every frame, and Crocodile does not have iframes, you can basically use that to just have him just moonwalk all the way back into the lava. No troubles. We'll take power bombs, especially if we're kind of low on current. We stay back here because the death animation does cause quite a bit of lag. Yeah, you can even see, like, he was even on screen, we still had a little bit of lag there. So let's come back over here, wait for him to arrive. He doesn't worry that we're trying to speedrun here. More boss music dance. Yeah, this is why Space Jump is amazing. It lets you do so much stuff just more easily. And usually faster. Because you would technically normally need, like, either high jump or grapple beam in order to get to this spot. But Space Jump just makes it a breeze. And we could know the Moonfall here, because this is another good spot to use it. Ah, I missed the door. Okay, we'll take red mail. F1 will not turn down armor. Oh, we just missed the mock ball. Yeah, if you run into something before you get the actual mock ball itself, you don't actually get the speed boost. And then everybody's sad. Alright, since we don't have speed boost, there's no point in actually blowing all this stuff up and spending the power bomb. Just do this. That's just money. Oh, yes. So many out of logic items. Okay, hammer is one of actually the most important items in Link to the Past, because it gives you access to a lot of areas, plus it functions as a tempered sword basically as far as damage goes. The hitbox is a little on the wonky side, but it's still more than usable. Okay, I can't see any. Why must you put me in challenge mode? There we go. Yeah, I did those first few wall jumps without seeing where I was. Just a little side note. Okay, so we've done basically everything that we can do here. So we'll head back over to Zelda now. In fact, we can actually do pretty much everything in Death Mountain right now. Although we are lacking mirrors, we can't quite get everything, but yeah, we can still get a good chunk. Alright, so go through here. Ah, just missed. Yeah, the hitbox on those can be kind of funky. And now we have our Metroid to Zelda transition into Death Mountain. And in fact, while we're here, let's go ahead and save the old man. Actually, I never marked what the prizes were. But I think he was... Dragon was Ridley. I forget what Kraid was. Is he a crystal? We can check real quick in the menu. Okay, he was another Metroid boss token. Alright. Oh, I don't know. Book. There we go. Actually, I think Kraid was actually his own boss token, which is kind of cool. I'm always kind of amused to see like the vanilla like crystal or boss stuff. Oh, Ice Rod. Okay, so depending on whether or not Turtle Rock is required, it is good to find that early on. Because I did a SMZ3 seed kind of in my off time, and actually no, this was my Mr. Randomizer last night. Ice Rod wound up being my go mode item because I forgot to do a single check that I had access to from like the first half hour of the seed. It took me 2.5 hours to finish because of that. Yeah. Randomizer can be mean sometimes. Okay, E-Tank up there if we don't need to get that. Now, no. Oh wait, yeah, we do have mirror now. Actually, yeah, we can do everything. Sweet. So one thing that does kind of suck is that we don't have the Book of Medora available right now, so we can't see what's on the tablet up here. So that's going to be a mystery for the time being. Actually, what are... Okay, so Hera is a crystal. I don't know how that got to... Okay, so Eastern is Vanilla Green Pendant. Desert is Crystal, and Hera's Crystal. Alright. Yeah, you know, always do a quick map test to find out what dungeons you're going to have what reward assigned to it. Assuming that your cat will allow you to actually see such things. If he graces you with the privilege and the right. Big key. Now, if we had boots, we would actually not need the big key. We could technically just go to the boss without it. But since we don't have boots, and I don't know of any other way to set up the particular trick, yeah, we basically have to progress this as more or less normal. Okay, so it's never a good thing to see either the pendant or compass in a check, like, at the start, because that just increases the likelihood you actually have to do literally everything. No, I had a setup that I used for this room, and I've completely forgotten what that setup was. It was like a really fast setup, too. That makes me sad. Yeah, not really too much to speak of in this dungeon, just kind of follow through everything. We can do actually a bomb jump to get access to the big chest without having to go upstairs and then falling through the pit. We'll be doing that just shortly. This one actually has a pretty good setup to do. All you need to do is... Oh, okay, now we have to get the basement chest. So go up to this wall, ready a spin slash, place a bomb, and then just before you fall in the pit, release the spin slash. That'll get you set up on the pixel just before the pit, which will actually let the bomb give you enough, basically, jump length to get across the pit without actually falling in. That's a pretty common trick that can be used in a lot of places in the game. There's also a range of pixels there where you can actually avoid both the pit and the little bumper there. I did not find that range. But again, nope. Okay, but we'll just walk through like normal. Yeah, usually I'm pretty good at just intuiting the range there. Sometimes it just plagues me. We're just gonna accept our minor defeat and move on. But trust that I say it is possible. We'll get a little bit of health here just in case. And we're gonna be using the hammer for this fight instead of the sword because, like I mentioned, it does temper damage. So Muldoon will take only 3 hits to kill, and we won't get into his like suddenly quick phase. Assuming he lets us get you in the first place, there's 1 bonk. 2 bonk. 3 bonk. Okay, just $20. But we do have a crystal now, which is absolutely needed for endgame. And then theoretically we could just leave the dungeon and just kind of leave the 1 check down below. I'm not generally a fan of just leaving checks available, especially when they're one-off checks, and you can just easily do them right away. So I'm going to go and get that item, especially because we know it's going to be an item, because we already have the map and compass. If one of those was still available, then we would know that this just is actually nothing of value. But alas. Now, one thing you can do in this room is you hit the switch. I like to place a bomb there. That way, when the bomb goes off, the switch hits, we have invincibility, and I'm going to grab a can of pop. But yeah, if you end up being on top of one of the little platforms and arrays and stuff like that, the game, I don't know how it necessarily treats you specifically, but it basically gives you iframes until you walk off the platform. You can use that to make sure you don't get hit by anything. It also gives you a little bit of a break to do something real quick, which is nice. And it wasn't anything valuable. That's unfortunate. So, now we can head over to the east toward East Death Mountain. I hate these things so much. So that's like 7 seconds we've lost now because he's blocking the way. We can't get past him. There we go. Yeah, they're like half the enemies in this game are literally the worst enemies in the game, and that's one of them. Come through here. The first thing we do while we're up here is we check to see what the item on the floating island is. Which in this case, just an E-tank, so we don't need to worry about getting that later on. Which technically we can access right now because we have all the items we need to get to it, but it's just not worth the time to actually get that particular item. It does take a decent bit of time investment. Even though we'll have more than enough E-tanks by the end of the seed anyway. This is also one of the examples as to why the hookshot is one of the best items in the game. Because it actually kills a lot of these like low level mobs without any real effort. Oh, if we didn't have zero money before, we definitely have it now. Right, now for some fun routing that we can do with this. So we can actually start by going into Death Mountain. And this routing only really works if you haven't done anything with East Side Death Mountain yet, but you do have access to Dark World and Light World and all that stuff. Oh yeah, we have silvers. We should equip those. And yeah, if you have an item that normally has like 2 varieties in it, like in this case we have the bow and we have silver arrows, you can swap between the two by either. Actually, that's another trick I didn't get to explain. But yeah, movable blocks, when they're in the process of moving, they don't really have collision. So you can either do stuff like use hookshot to be able to attach to something else behind the stone as it's moving, or you can just use a mirror to just delete it entirely. That's one of my favorite little things. And now I forgot what I was originally talking about. Yeah, there's so many fun things to talk about. That. Oh, there's our flippers. Okay, no. Okay, so at least having flippers does put everything back into logic now, because everything was kind of hinging on having had Moon Pearl already. Or at least... Yeah, okay. Yeah, so getting those flippers puts our Moon Pearl into logic, so now we're exactly where we're intended to be. Yeah, it doesn't always have like necessarily a impact type. I think I forgot to do. Yeah, I forgot to do the portal again. That's what I'm caught up in everything. Yeah, well, what I should have done was falling down the pit after getting the other chest, and then come back to Dark World and going through here, which actually would give us the quickest route to get all the items in Death Mountain. But I derped. Yeah, the only thing, the one limitation to doing the mirror trick to destroy the block is that it does not work in dungeons. Because in dungeons, the mirror has an actual intended effect of returning you to the start of the dungeon. So if you try it there, you do not delete the block. You delete yourself, basically. So that is one important thing to note. Alright, so we'll get ready to go to Hookshot Cave, which is so called because you need Hookshot to get most of the items in it. You can technically get the first item with just boots, but with a couple kind of well-placed bonks. But yeah, the entire area is basically expect you to have a hook shot. We're gonna have anything useful. Spring ball. It's kind of a convenience item, but it doesn't really do much on its own. Okay, so we can come over here, find out what we need to unlock Turtle Rock. We need Quake, so it's the vanilla medallion. And you can actually mark on the tracker which dungeon is locked by which medallion. So in this case, I want to change that to Turtle Rock. Also, hookshot gives you iframes. Make use of this. It will in fact save your life sometimes. So we'll come over here and we'll do the Spike Cave check real quick since we do have hammer and everything else we need for it. Hopefully we have enough magic and health for this, because we might be a little bit on the edge of the requirements. Well, I think we can save one heart by using hookshot. Also, get ready for this. Wait, which is... Because there is a difference between the magic usage of the cane versus the cape. I think the cane drains magic faster, but requires less to start up. And then the cape is the other way, where it uses more magic to start, but then less to actually use. So where do we want to go from here? So we've okay. We can't do desert. I don't know why the tracker isn't updated for Hera. Hold on, let me reset that. Where do we want to go? I think we'll actually try to go to... Yeah, we'll start heading toward Dark World and... No, yeah, we'll go to through Village of Kakariko to get into Dark World / Village of Outcasts, and then we'll see what all the dungeons are, then we'll make our decision from there. And depending on which dungeon we need to do. Like, the way I like to do things when it comes to, like, the Dungeon of Skull Woods, which is going to be directly north of where we enter Dark World, if Skull Woods is a dungeon that's required, I try to hold that off until later on and we can actually beat it. Which actually we technically can now. We just don't have a lot of magic for it. Which would be my issue. Let's see what it is. Because I do know of a place to get full magic if I need to. Okay, it's only a pendant, we do not need to actually beat it. So Thief's Sound is a Metroid token. Oh, too far. Meyer is a boss token. Oh, that went too far. Ice is red crystal. Pod is red crystal. Turtle Rock. Okay, so we did not actually need the ice rod then. Anyway, okay, so since we do not actually need to be Skull Woods, I do like to dip into it to see if there's any useful items there, so we don't have to worry about like trying to find them later on. Now, if you go this way in like the regular Link to the Past randomizer, there is a chance you can get basically soft lock here because you'll not have enough keys to actually get out of this area. But in SMZ3, there's one chest that will always have a small key in it, so you can always get out regardless. And I do kind of make use of that in this dungeon. Anyway, this. Oh, we got the flute, which is actually required in order to get to, well, it's not as required in SMZ3 because you can actually get to Meyer using a Metroid game entrance, but flute is the vanilla way to get to Misery Mire. So it's always good to get that early on. It's also good just for general movement. You can get to and from places a bit faster. Also, if you're not going to be using the spikes, it basically gives them the equivalent of butter syrup damage. So if you have an enemy that's like really bothering you, just toss them the spike. Or still would die. Literally, sometimes. Okay, we do have the big key, so we can actually get the big chest while we're here. Which is always nice. So this time we'll actually set the spin / up before we plant the bomb. It's only in Tower of Hera that the one setup actually really works. No applause. Unfortunately, we just got a key there, which is not particularly useful. So we'll come back here, we can get one more chest. And we do not have the Cane of Samaria, so we actually do not have a quick way to get this area. Let's see if I can get the pseudo-normal speed strat. Ooh, I hope I can get that. Okay, I got it anyway. Let's just take care of these. Okay, you do dodge my service. Alright. Yeah, that hand will pick you up and reset the room if you're not careful, so you want to avoid him at all costs. Yeah, thankfully getting the full magic there is saving family both of that break the wall there. Okay, that was a waste of time. Yeah, the unfortunate thing is that you never know if a check is going to be useful until you actually make it. So in cases like that, it's just like, oh well, I lost like 20 seconds. Which, to be fair, in what is generally about a 3+ hour run, isn't the worst of things to lose. But every little bit of time lost, like, makes me cry inside. Use that bumper cave. So if there is a progression item here, we do have access to it because we do have the cave. It is just $5. We do not need that for anything. We can just ignore that. I like how all of the scoutable items so far are completely useless. Seems nice and consistent. Also, this is an example of where hookshot can just generally save you time. You can hookshot to things, and you basically move at boot speed toward that particular thing. We'll do some more looting. Arrow capacity, that is definitely not needed when you have silvers. The silver arrows basically kill anything and everything in one hit, with the exception of Ganon and one specific boss. I mean, granted, there are some bosses that are immune to arrows in general, but anything that a silver arrow can damage usually dies in one hit. You don't really need, like, the full assortment of arrows at that point. Okay, that skeleton is being nice so far. Usually he walks, like, right into the staircase instead of trying to go up it and force me to take damage. So far he's been cool. In fact, I like how he's staying all the way over there, because that guarantees he won't be coming back. Unfortunately, the red guy is in my way, which is actually unusual. Usually he, like, never gives me issues. A little speed stuff. Okay, so we've gotten 2 items so far. So yeah, each dungeon will have a set number of items in it. In this case, Thieves Town will always have 4 items. We've already got 3 out of the 4. So if we get one more, like, actual item, that means we can actually probably skip a check or 2. Also, this is what happens when you get into the Darkwood sprite. Whatever sprite you play as has, like, a special Darkwood sprite. In this case, it was 8-bit Luigi, which I love. Oh yeah, fun fact, for the Link to the Past version of this randomizer, there are over 400 sprite options. You want to play as Link? You don't have to. You can pick any of the, like, 400 plus options. You still want to play as Link? There's still like 5 or 6 different varieties of Link you can play as. The choices are almost literally endless. And same thing with Metroid as well. There's a whole bunch of different varieties, including custom Samus sprites as well, that are absolutely not Samus in any way, shape, or form. You can do a lot of stuff with the rando. In fact, the standalone Super Metroid randomizer has actually even started having the option to basically give a custom sprite to your starting ship. And if the ship is a different shape than the base ship, they still account for that. They can actually modify the hitbox to make that still work and have it make sense. Yeah, both these randomizers have just come so far with their development and the options you can do with them, and just everything about these randomizers is amazing. That's why I love to play it all the time. We're not supposed to stop there. Alright, so toss you. We do need to break that open in order to make the boss here actually the boss. Because the boss technically hides himself as a helpless maiden who needs rescuing from the dungeon. But in the vanilla game, if you try to leave with the maiden, just nothing happens. She just kind of disappears. It's like the only boss in the entire game that's even like different than the normal setup of just boss in room, kill boss. Which I always find kind of interesting and kind of surprised I never really went much further with it. I think this is the only game that really has like a setup like this. I mean, there might have been a boss I think in maybe Ocarina of Time that was kind of like a disguise boss, but yeah, they never really did much with that after this game, which I'm kind of disappointed by. You can always count on these spots to give you some health as well if you need it. So yeah, there's our fair maiden. Oh, okay. Okay, so the map is still available, but we don't want to ditch this item in case it actually is the item. We could technically gamble that the item is on the boss and just go there right now and kind of save a little bit of time here. But that's usually a path that leads to nothing but tears. Okay, so we didn't have to get that chest, but because we didn't know, and it's a much better time expenditure to do this first. Because otherwise, if we went there after beating the boss, we have to start from the start of the dungeon and walk all the way back here otherwise. So even though we technically lost time, we lost less time than we would have otherwise. And sometimes it's all just about like a give and take and the balance of time expenditures and whatnot. Alright, so this fight in particular, if you do the exact same motions and damage the blind at the exact same time every time, the entire fight will actually be scripted. Right, so normally it feels like it's complete RNG. Now, as long as you get the first two phases, you're usually pretty good. So, like exactly there, I got the first two phases, so I'll basically know everything that he's going to do. Let's see if I can actually get the full... I got the full script, nice. Yeah, the full boss script isn't completely required, but it's always nice to get just as kind of a little bit of swag. But yeah, so we've beaten 3 bosses so far, including one Zelda boss, and we have only Super Metroid kills. Yeah, the boss reward is actually something they introduced with the most recent patch of SMZ3, which definitely makes the routing a little bit more interesting too. It kind of makes you have to check like certain bosses more often than not, or in some cases, not even have to fight a boss in Metroid. Now, in fact, there's actually a chance, although extremely minuscule, that none of the... Well, I suppose one of them would have to be a crystal of some flavor, but... Yeah, there's technically a chance that you'll almost need none of the Super Metroid bosses to beat the game. If you get it set up, like, just right. Alright, in this case, so we have a set of items we can get up here called the Smith Chain, which contains a whole bunch of items in a certain sequence. Thankfully, we have everything we need to actually get all those items. I'll be showing that off shortly. First, we go to the shovel game. We pay him, I believe, so 80 bucks it looks like. We just dig out a bunch of holes. Now, in the vanilla game, when you get the key item is literally complete another RNG, you could go through like 3 entire game sequences and never find the special item. In the randomizer, it's set up to where within the first... Very nice. So within the somewhere within the first, I think, 30 dig spots, you'll be guaranteed to have an item on X number check. So in that case, I think that was around check like maybe 13 or 14. That check will always be in the 13th or 14th, no matter how many times you try that game. Just because of the fact that it kind of sucks too, especially if you're trying to race a seed like this. It sucks to be losing like a whole bunch of time just because you get bad luck with the way it's set up. In fact, the chess game that we did earlier, where I opened the 2 chests in that one room, that's up the exact same way, where in the second chest, you always get the actual item. Yeah, it's one of the things that the randomizer actually unrandomizes, and it is definitely a thing for the better. And this game rewards you for OCD. Oh, we like that. It's not progression, but we love it. It makes everything, a lot of things in Metroid so much easier, especially in Lower Norfair. And then they got the ginormous key hunters that do like 50 damage even with gravity suit. I think I can mirror here. I cannot mirror here. I always forget about how that fence is laid out. Yeah, there's a few checks we want to do before heading back to Dark World, so I'm not going to mirror right outside the door. Just gonna do so on like a little patio. We turn him in. Yeah, technically it's noteworthy that you do need 10 rupees in order to get the actual item that he has for you. But there's like almost no way in any way, shape, or form you're not gonna have 10 rupees by the time you get to this check, so it's almost not even worth mentioning. But for the sake of completion, I'll note it. Okay, so this upcoming section, this check there's something important you have to do here. Every time you do this check, rule number 1, turn right, pet the doggo. For some reason, you can powder on the doggo's head to the right, and it'll still activate the bat. The left head doesn't do that, only the right head. We got wave beam, nice. I have no idea why it does that, but I love it. So I do that every time I do this. Every time I do any Link to the Past randomizer. It's just one of those little things I love. Alright, Now we head back to Dark World. Now, the one issue with getting the Metroid beams in Zelda is that the beams do not get automatically equipped. The next time we go back into Metroid, we'll have to manually equip the wave beam in order to actually make it active. That is one of the few downsides, and I think that's probably because of the way the games are coded. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily take a lot of time, it's just kind of annoying to do when you don't necessarily have to do the magic. Yeah, even though wave is definitely very utilitarian, because it does give you access to all of the blue beam gates. We have to leave the chest out here, because it does not like caves. Oh, Bombos, hell yeah. Yeah, use Bombos to possibly get into either Mire or Turtle Rock, and you can also use it to... Actually, I'll even show you. If you can try to go into a cave with a chest. Can't you take me someplace nice? Oh yeah, so Bombos. The good thing about Bombos is that it's a good, like, kill everything in the screen instantly. It does cost a decent bit of mana, especially if you don't have half magic, but it's still good otherwise. It also gives you access to, or potential access to, either Turtle Rock and or Misery Mire. It is possible for the same medallion to open both. Plus... What else was I about to say? I just brain farted. I forgot what the third thing was that it does. Oh crap. Anyway, so we turn this chest up here to the guy who's in Light World. Now, technically, you can actually leave the chest in Dark World, walk up to this guy, mirror to him, and then drop it off within like a few frames. Also, we have access to Turtle Rock now, which is not a good thing. Because that means there might actually be progression in there that we need to collect. Yeah, with Misery Mire being required, we do actually need the Cane of Samaria. Which actually, no, hold on. Yeah, if we get the Cane of Samaria, we would have access to Turtle Rock, but we don't necessarily need to do Turtle Rock. Yeah, it's at this point we're trying to figure out like what dungeons are actually required, and that can get kind of complicated because it depends on what all you find otherwise. So we do have Desert Palace as a required dungeon. But we can actually get access to that without too much issue, really. Actually, I think we're better off actually saving quitting here, activating Flute, than doing stuff that way. Okay, so actually, I think we're actually in go mode for Metroid at this point. Yeah, because we can actually get to Dragon without having to go through like Meridian at all. Which is kind of a fun little thing. Plus, we can actually get to Lower Norfair without having to go through. Well, actually, I guess we do go to like the entry of Lower Norfair still, so it's not quite the biggest time save there, but you can still kind of get a little quicker access. Because I believe you can use the shed to the right of Misery Mire to get to Lower Norfair. Which actually we'll probably do while we're there, so we can finish up that section. Actually, better routing. We do Mire and Desert first. Hopefully we do Desert first, because there's a chance that we need boots to actually finish up Mire. Also, we can talk to Sick Kid. Now that we have a bottle. Actually, I think I will take the time to get the other two chests that we missed earlier. Just to make sure I'm not missing anything important. It's entirely possible that one of these two chests is going to be like the Cane of Samaria. Definitely don't want to leave that behind if we don't actually have to. Yeah, it should just be these two checks left at this point. And not too much we can do while waiting, so... Do some, like, side push-ups on the block there. Okay, that's not helpful. Yeah. Not really too much else we can do in this area otherwise at the moment. Ow. I always get the timing just off when I do that. Okay, we could have skipped those, but... It's one of those things that we just didn't know. Actually, there's still a chance we don't have access to Meyer yet. Because if Meyer needs Ether access, then we just can't get to it. Which will kind of suck. But we can think positive. So I'm doing a little movement down there to set up for a potential trick in Meyer, assuming we can actually get access to there. Okay, so first off... No way. Go ahead in here. Get a couple of checks in here real quick. Hopefully there's something of value. Missiles and... Okay, regular bombs from Metroid. It is nice to be able to not use power bombs for certain blocks. It will reduce the lag that way. But it's not the most important of time saves right now. Okay, so we do have access to Meyer as well. Because we need to wait for both. That is a good thing. Although again, not having Kena Samari means we can't actually beat Meyer yet. This might be annoying. The other problem is we're not guaranteed to be able to finish up Desert either, because we don't have boots. And if we have like the big key on the torch, then we can't even beat Desert Palace either. This might actually kind of suck. Yeah, we don't need those bombs. Alright, let's see what our luck has in store for us for Desert today. Can we look out and have like a basic item or like a map or compass on the torch? In my experience, it's actually very rare to see a map or a compass on the torch. Okay, that works too. That means we should have access to beating the entire dungeon without ever having to get boots. That is one dungeon we can guarantee clear. Now, efficiency might be a concern. Okay, that's actually probably the better way to do it. Because we're a lot closer to the big chest now than we are to the other chests available on the east side. So we can do this real quick, head over to the east side and get the other chest, and then just mirror right back to the start of the dungeon that we came through. We'll get back to the proper boss section of the dungeon. That's kind of one of my favorite little things about the randomizer for this, is that you get the big key, you open the big chest to get a small key. That you theoretically could have just like stuck your arm through the keyhole, reached it and grabbed the small key that way without having to actually get the big key. But you know what, there's something to be said for ideals and standards and morals. But I don't want to accidentally use the mirror yet, so I'm going to take my item off of that. Oh, that'll make some menuing easier at least. We don't really need to open the menu very often, but in case we do need to open the menu, that'll make things easier. Alright, on to fight the boss. Never mind that little screen shake there, just the game gets weird at that particular spot if you try to diagonal movement. Yeah, hook shot movement. This is like one of the few rooms where it's actually useful to have sword beams. Because normally it just gets in the way. How did I complete these based on where the small key was? I would say that's not like me, but it kind of is like me, to be completely honest. It's what makes watching me do these randomizers fun, because I'll just be completely jerking around and not even realize it. Alright, let's see if we can do the quick kill with the silver arrows here. The timing is a little finicky, but it's doable. Oh, he went the wrong way. Landmos, you ruined my moment. I worked so hard for this. Alright, so no items of value, but we got a crystal. Yeah, the only thing we actually need for Go mode at this point is just Kena Samari, I think. Okay, so if we happen to get like the super greatest tremendous luck of all time, we can find Canis Mario in Misery Mire. Which I think is where you get it in vanilla, if I remember right. Yeah, if we get that, then we can just go mode the rest of the games. Mainly just because it's kind of long and annoying. That's really just the brunt of it. It's also annoying because like this is one of the best dungeons to do while go moding, but you never really get to do a go mode in this dungeon just because of the way that you see it as being laid out. It's kind of like the best and worst of situations at the same time. Like, sometimes every time I get this dungeon as like an actual go mode setup, it's always when I'm searching for like 3 or 4 items still. Yeah, technically all you need to go mode this dungeon is literally just find the big key in the first chest. You get that, you can actually just get a small key inside the first pot up ahead, and then just completely do the rest of the dungeon right then and there. Like that. This is a go mode dungeon. But we cannot go mode it because we're still looking for an item. That's always how it works. This seed is... not the seed. This randomizer is too powerful for its own good. It needs to be taken down a notch. Oh hey, Master Sword, nice. That is actually technically a required piece of progression to actually beat the game. Because you cannot go through the Ganon phase without at least Master Sword. Yeah, now we head through here. Get our fire rod ready. How did that not hit the switch? I wish I had boots. Oh, I did hit the switch. I just didn't realize it. Okay, can I make it back before the torches go out? Sweet. Nice. Actually, wasn't sure if I had the time for that. All that for a freaking compass. Alright. I mean, we did need the switches flipped for later portions of the dungeon as well, but it's still kind of annoying to have to do all that for literally nothing. Pick up an MP refill. Also, another thing you do with the blocks and their non-existence when moving is that you can also just fire rod shots right over them when they move. Because normally the shots are blocked by... I'm gonna take you out. Yeah, you basically skip the entire like puzzle here and try and get the timing and whatnot. Yeah, this shaking lasts for 17 seconds. Literally, that much time that you're just staring there watching nothing happen. Okay, this dungeon is sucking so far. Gotta find something good eventually, right? Right? Maybe. Please? I beg of you. So far, the answer for that question appears to be no. Okay, the fire stake went the right way. I grant you kudos. Alright, so 2 more chests to see if we get the red cane. aka Canis Mario. If not, then we have to mirror out and we'll just go do Lower North Air. And then kind of cry about not being able to finish this efficiently. Small key. I think this is going to be another small key at this point. Yep. You gotta love key logic. Alright. So we cannot finish this dungeon yet until we find the Canis Mario. And we have no idea where that's going to be. So let's just head to Lower North Air. And thankfully, we do have a lot of stuff that we could possibly want for this area. First off, we'll turn on... Oh, wait, we did... Oh no, it's only Plasma and Space that don't automatically equip, because the game gets funky if both of those get equipped at the same time. And when I say funky, I mean funky. The game will actually, like, not work. The game will literally crash if you have, like, Wave or Spacer and Plasma equipped at the same time, and you try to do, like, almost anything with it. So position ourselves here, so he just jumps back, puts us in position, and he cannot hurt us. And we can only hurt him. This is one of my favorite attacks in Super Metroid. Think about it's like completely annoying and a pain in the ass to fight, and you just make him literally nothing. Just the tank there. And money there. So nothing there was actually vital. We'll go ahead and get some resources. Go ahead and get some free super missiles for the price of one power bomb. Actually, we don't even need that. We had the screw attack. We just take those out that way. Oh well. And this is one benefit of having, let's get some more power bombs just to make sure. I don't think I really need them, but I'm kind of paranoid about them for some reason. But yeah, this is a great place to have screw attacks, and you can just, like, fly through all this stuff without losing any speed or anything like that. Plus, you can take out these little 100 jokers that are here, like, instantaneously. Just, oh, please spin. Thank you. Yeah, screw attack may not be progression, but it's still the best item in the game as far as I'm concerned. Come on. I really don't need to take that, but just in case I, for some reason, don't find any more energy tanks, I want to still be able to guarantee I can do the particularly glitch later on at the end of Metroid. Because it does make everything go a lot faster. Also, one thing that does suck about screw attacks is that it's actually very easy to accidentally lose it, and you just fall all the way down to the ground without any real recourse or even understanding of how it happened. So I'm always kind of paranoid in this room when I'm trying to space jump around. Yeah, a lot of power bombing coming up here. And just kind of bombing in general, honestly. Just missiles. Yeah. Also, a little trick there. You can use the iframes to actually force yourself to fall through that little spike platform. Saves a few seconds. Oh, I got debated there. I was trying to beat the Jabator, but I was the Jabatee. And then just go through this room like it's absolutely nothing. Because it pretty much is nothing, honestly. The great part about this is I actually don't even have to do any farming here. You usually have to farm for like either health or super or something like that, but no, I'm perfectly fine as it is. That is a rare feat. That should be enough. Yep, there we go. Yeah, it really takes 30 super missiles to kill, and then you have to actually get grabbed by him to get the actual fast kill. Otherwise, he just kind of like hovers around for like another minute or so before just dying on his own. So he is actually hard required to, well, not hard required, but highly recommended to do that particular setup to get through him. That was a regular crystal. Alright, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6 normal crystals. So yeah. So Dragon is going to be required because he's going to have our last crystal. We do need to beat all the Metroid bosses. Yeah, the randomizer does put a little bit extra weight to putting required rewards on certain Metroid bosses, because otherwise it could theoretically like completely negate Metroid as even a game if you get like certain randomized settings. So they try to make sure that Super Metroid is still relevant to at least a decent degree. Speed. Also, I love how just like it's basically like the equivalent of like the pseudo wave beam in Metroid Dread, where you can actually kind of fire through even stuff you want to hit, like doors, if you're not really trying. This kind of weird thing that, like, yeah, there actually is a pseudo wave beam trick in Metroid or Super Metroid long before it was in Dread. Which, in my headcanon, I imagine that's kind of part of the reason why pseudo wave is a thing in Metroid Dread. They really should do that in Super Metroid. It's like, you know what, let's do that. I don't think anybody knows about this, so let's do it. Then it became like the first speedrun trick we learned about in Dread. Spawn capacity, we don't really need that. Come on. Yeah, one thing about the SMZ3 rando is that Speed Booster normally is a hard required item in Metroid Rando, but in SMZ3 you actually don't need it at all, because you can get to the area that would hard require it just through a Link to the Past portal entrance, which unfortunately makes it less likely that you already would get Speed Booster. So it always makes me like extra happy to find it in the SMZ3C for that reason. For the E-Tank, we don't need more E-Tanks. 7 is literally all we need. And that's not even for like safety reasons, that's literally for a particular trick that I want to do later on. Boots! Not required the seed, but it does make us go faster. In a speedrun, you never turn down fast. Oh my god, I'm getting a lot of inadvertent pseudo waves. And I'm getting that with actual wave, which is a kind of funny thing. So I think given that we do still need, well, we verified we actually need to go to Meridia, let's go ahead and just take care of all that now. It would be nice to have, actually no, again, we don't, Okay, so in order to get there otherwise, we would need to go through basically the Darkwood version of Ice Rock Cave. Which there isn't really a quick way to do. You know, if we weren't still searching for a kind of more generic Zelda item, I would probably skip the front half of Meridia. But I gotta figure that getting gravity super early usually means it's actually something important to me in that area. I don't have any hard data to back that up, that's kind of the general assumption I usually make when it comes to randomizers and getting like super powerful weapons early. Or equipment, I should say. I mean, actually, you know, we have a bunch of other dungeons we can complete in Zelda that are actually required. And we can get a whole bunch of items there anyway. Let's do stuff that we can still get stuff on the way to progression before doing stuff that's outside of progression. We may not have to touch Meridia at all except for the boss. So if we do anything there we don't need to, that's literally just losing time. Okay, so Turtle Rock is optional, so we're not going to do any of that. Let's do Swamp. So that's going to be 6 checks right there, plus 5 more checks at Pod, which would be right in the same basic area. And we can also combine that with Ice Palace as well. I do have to take a quick little BRB because apparently I've actually hydrated myself too much today. So I'm going to do a quick little BRB. I'll do everything in my power to make sure I don't do this if the run actually gets accepted at the event. But yeah, for now I'm going to take a quick little BRB for a bio break. Be right back. Alright, my apologies for that. Turn off the BRB, and back into the game. Also, minor little thing, you can actually start dashing as you're pulling the switch, so you get your boot speed up a little bit faster. Takes probably like half a second. Okay, some of them were not in position, like they should have been. Yeah, if you time and position right, you can actually get all three of the little water striders in the same dash. Make it like super efficient. But sometimes they don't want to play nice. Tempered Sword, hell yeah. That is basically the ideal weapon to have for like the rest of the game, really. Tempered Sword is always nice to have, but it doesn't give you the same level of like relative improvement from the Master Sword, or from Tempered Sword that Master Sword gives you to Tempered. Bop. Okay, so, oh, wrong side. There. Pixels are hard. Zoom. Taking the small key. And then, yeah, unless we find the Canis Mario literally in this chest right here, we'll be showing off a couple other kind of combination of tricks to get through the west side of this dungeon a little bit faster. Yeah, you get to show off tricks. So, there's going to be a couple things we're about to do. One is called Diver Down, which will let you basically do like a form of water walking and let you go through areas you're not supposed to get to. And another trick that I actually don't know if it has a name, but it's basically kind of like almost like a remote control switch activation. So we start by, that enemy might prevent me from getting this. But yeah, we set a bomb right next to the switch, and then as it's in the middle of exploding, we will leave the room, going down south. Okay, we're fine. And then we will bring up, okay, so there's two ways you can do Diver Down. One of them would be with Canis Mario, which unfortunately we don't have. Why am I dying? Okay, so we don't have... Oh, actually, I need to get this on the first try, then. Okay, so this might be unfortunate. Because this one is not as consistent. Wait, not? Oh, I probably take a quarter heart damage for that. So you can use a little bomb set up here. I gotta remember myself. It's been so long since I've had to do the bomb variant. Oh god, get away from me. Yeah, I haven't had to do the bomb variant in so long. I'm actually kind of rusty with it. In order involves basically moving up one. There we go. So yeah, you got to basically move one pixel up, and also that the bomb triggers a switch after you re-enter the room. So you basically, using the bomb, I should not have done that. So using the bomb strike, you have to move yourself one pixel upward from where that barrier ends. Place a bomb to the left, jump off of the little steps, move down and then down right to get back onto the platform correctly. Hold your sword out and keep moving to the right. And if you do everything correctly, it'll shunt you actually like halfway into the wall when you get bombed, and actually let you jump off of the thing as if it were just a regular little pit. Now, unfortunately, my health is starting to concern me at this point. I don't necessarily want to see Shovel again. Okay, so if we do get a piece of heart, we'll immediately get a full health. So hopefully we see a piece of heart soon, or maybe just get like a random fairy from an enemy. Either of those two would be ideal. And we're not going to see that when we charge to an enemy, because actually that does not offer any kind of reward for charging. You have to take an enemy in fair combat to get a potential drop off of them. I think there's a heart here somewhere, unless we already picked it up. I think I already picked it up. This might be a bit scary. Oh, no big key, right? Yeah, no big key, so we have to leave the big chest. Yeah, this is one of those dungeons where it's unfortunately possible to not get the big key until you fight the boss. Oh, we have to do this again, too. That's the thing that sucks. Okay, so let's see if I can make lightning strike twice. Oh, not quite. Okay, I can do, I think, 1 or 2 more tries. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I think I found something I need to practice if I actually do get, like, accepted. There we go. Okay, we got it. We get 2 hearts here, so we should be fine. There's the big key. I don't want to go back if I don't have to. I already have the map and compass. There's actually that up there. Oh, this is gonna suck. No, I'm gonna take a gamble and assume that it's not gonna be inside Swamp Palace. In the interest of not taking too much damage, I'll bait this guy a little more that way. There we go. Alright, so this boss should be fairly easy with Hookshot and Tempered Sword. Yeah, playing a little safer because of my health. Keeping with right now. There we go. We got it. Got him. Okay. Half magic's always nice. Actually, we haven't done Hype Cave yet. We might even find Arcane Samaria in there. There's a good 5 items just in there alone, and we're literally right by the shack. Yeah, let's see if we can find lightning in a bottle. That is definitely not lightning. Oh, now's the health up. Those were neither lightning nor bottles. I demand a refund. Alright, so head over toward Pod. Yeah, we should have a total of 5 items available to us, which will be nice. Also, I haven't explained that yet. There's a technique in this game called item dashing, which you can do with virtually any item in the game, and as long as you have boots as well. Where if you use the item and press the dash button at the exact same frame, you can basically get like a combination of effects. For example, with the hammer, you can actually go through like a whole bunch of like peg-related things and knock them all down and not stop once. Although you do need to have the sword as well in order to make that work. You can also do similar things with like Magic Cane or Magic Cape and Cane of Burna to be able to get invincibility while like instantly moving. I believe it still takes up MP the same way, but you can still basically go a lot faster with invincibility from the start. And you can also use that along with Hookshot on stairs to give yourself basically dashing speed without actually being dashing. I might be able to show that for a little bit later on once we actually start going to go mode, but I don't know if we're going to be able to get that anytime soon. Because there's not too many areas where that really comes into play. Okay, get the mirror ready here. Ow. Alright, so we'll go down this way. I feel like that animation was the pulling animation instead of the push, which seems weird to me. Technically, since we have the boost, we don't need to worry about using bombs on these. We just walk right into them. Oh, I don't know why I fired the arrow there. Yeah, if you really want to, you can actually get through this room with just a potion of some kind, by basically kind of manipulating the way that the camera works. It's kind of a weird setup, not really sure how to explain it without actually doing it. But in this case, since we had the bow, we actually had what we... I hate those things. We had what we need to be able to go through that room normally, so we didn't have to use that strat. Okay, we got plenty of small keys, so we'll dip down to the... basically the basement chest, first off. Get those 2 checks. Hopefully we find a big key soon so we can do the hammer jump. Make that save more time. I always tap to the wrong thing. There we go. I think we have to find another small key in either this chest or the next chest. Okay, so the next chest is also going to be a small key, I think. Because the key logic is... Okay, so key logic is basically a way that the game makes sure that no matter how you spend your small keys, you're never soft-locked into either being able to complete the dungeon or just getting locked in a room. So there's something called the key logic that determines, like, this many small keys is required to be in these front chests, stuff like that. And you can basically use that as kind of a general guideline on when to expect a small key to be in a certain area. I because I didn't have a lot of small keys by that point, I kind of expected that there would be a small key inside that chest. There is a hammer jump you can do to get across that gap and even get through the wall, but without the big key, it's not as efficient to do it like that, so we're just going to go through this kind of normal-ish sequence. Go down here and get this item. Yeah, because there are 6 total small keys in this dungeon, which takes up like almost half the chest. High jump boots is nice, but not really required. Okay, a bunch of stuff we don't need. Pretty par for the course. Take the damage boost. Okay, there's a big key. Yeah, I think it's actually faster to just mirror from the big chest. Oh my god. I think it's faster to mirror from the big chest rather than just like manually walk through this entire maze again back to where we need to go. Dip right in. Oh, that was tremendous. Tremendous, just like the Tremendous 12 at Perkins. So I've never actually had, so I don't actually really know what it consists of, in all honesty. That's something I usually partake in. Yeah, it was giving me that sound because I was trying to change what type of bow I had while there was still an arrow in the field, which would cause kind of freaky thing to happen if it let you do that. So it prevents you. There's a little kind of prevention of errors. Also, this cutscene is also 17 seconds long, but it doesn't feel anywhere near as long for whatever reason because you can actually like see the walls moving, as you can with the other section. Also, I thought I had the red boomerang. Apparently not. I need to get to my hammer again. There we go. And let's see if I can do the quick strat in this room. This one is kind of finicky. I don't know if that's 100% the quick strat, but it's like 98% of it, so I'll gladly take that. Because I think the actual quick strat is you get all 4 of the bottom little turtles in the first spin slash. But because of the way I timed it, it didn't quite work out that way. Yeah, there are a lot of speedrunners will actually do basically a form of the hook dash trick in order to get the better hitbox with the hammer to make it easier to hit him and break his mask off. I've actually never felt like I need to do that because I kind of figured out the hitbox with the hammer already. So I just use like the regular hammer hitbox and kind of do lots more or less normally. I think I'm kind of weird in that regard. Yay, red shield. It blocks little tiny fireballs. Yay. I mean, to be fair, it is the best of the shields because it blocks little fireballs. That's basically the shields I use. Like, the mirror shield is almost completely useless as far as actual, like, combat goes. You know what? I'm gonna make an executive decision. We're gonna beat Eastern, get the green pendant, and then turn that into Safrasala. Just in the off chance that he has the Cane of Samaria. I've seen the randomizer do stranger things as far as like route progression and logic. And you can make the argument that if I'm doing this check, I should have gone back and checked the big chest at the Swamp Palace, which is a 100,000% fair statement. But yeah, some things I'm just kind of willing to do more than others, and for whatever reason, this is one thing I'm more willing to do. Well, the one thing that actually makes this check better, though, is that we do know for a fact we have another item at the boss. We're actually getting 2 checks out of 1 by doing this. It's kind of better in that sense. Yeah, quicker. Aw, I missed the top 2. And quick kill time. Oh, how did I miss that one? Oh god, why? Okay. Not the quickest of kills, but still technically a quick kill. Okay, just arrow capacity. That kinda sucked. Get back here. I don't think it matters too much, like time-wise, whether or not you stay in Dark World or go to Light World. You just use this route. Get here instead. And we'll be floating out of here anyway, so. Nope, we could have skipped that. That's the gamble you take with randomizers. Dip right in. Exactly half magic makes this dungeon infinitely better to go through. And coming? Oh no, we don't actually don't. I was about to say we get to see one of my favorite tricks in this game, but unfortunately we don't get to see it because we don't have Cane of Samaria. Yeah, Cane of Samaria kind of breaks the game in like every possible way, which is kind of funny. But there are so many different tricks in speedrun track that have something to do with it. There's some things that just literally mess the game up, and that's it. Okay, it's always nice to see the small key early on, because that way you can guarantee to get the actual fast route through the dungeon. Although it matters less when you don't have the icebreaker trick to work with. That did not go the way I was supposed to. But oh well. Get this ready. Alright, let's see if I can remember the speedrun tech for this. I already forgot the speedrun tech, never mind. We're doing this a slow way. Yeah, I've only like the last few speedrun attempts of the vanilla game did I actually finally learn how to do that right, and I haven't really done it much since, so unfortunately I still have to do that one slowly. And bomb jump time! That should be good. Yep. Yeah, that one is actually a very precise... oh, I almost fell a bit there. That's a very precise bomb jump, but it does have enough setups where you can get it relatively reliably if you know how to work it. Oh, I missed one. Okay, I got it. Yeah, the kind of unfortunate thing is that I don't really go through this dungeon enough without Icebreaker to actually know what the fastest route is. I think I should probably learn at some point. But again, it just comes up so infrequently. It's so infrequently enough to where, like, every time I think I should probably learn it, by the time I actually get the time to learn, I've completely forgotten I needed to do that. Okay, that didn't help. all this backtracking for not much benefit. Yeah, this dungeon in particular kind of sucks. Get ourselves to full health, but why not? Or not. That's why not, apparently. Zoomies. Yeah, there's not really too much to talk about when it comes to trying to find like a single item in a game as big as this. Yeah, this would definitely be a section where there's a lot of room for like donation bringing as well. Oh, I did that way too early. Yeah. Oh my god, game. Thank you. And we get a free bomb jump here. All you gotta do is line yourself up in the corner, place a bomb, good to go. Okay, there's the big key. And another use of the block trick with hookshot. Zoom across. Yeah, a little bit faster to do this big chest that way rather than actually like bomb the floor like you're supposed to. Get the hammer ready. Bombos, that'll make the first half of this phase go infinitely more reliably and easily. It's a little bit faster to use the fire rod instead, but I just always prefer the bombos. Probably because you can also basically get like iframes for the first little ice cold fall thing. Please stop moving. Thank you. Yeah, you can just bully these guys with the right attack patterns. Okay, so that is absolutely nothing in the favor of getting items, which sucks. Okay, so we can turn in dig game. We've already done powder. I'm trying to think of other like little quick checks we can do before heading into Metroid. I think shovel's about the only thing we can really do. I guess we could try to go for Catfish and Zora. I mean, I guess they would still be faster than going through all of Meridia. And now we do a little more of the balancing between like what's worth and what's not. And there are literally no good options. Not helpful. Yeah, let's go do Zora and Catfish first. Actually, we can also do Graveyard Ledge and King's Tomb while on the way. So that's actually 4 checks we can do, which makes it a much more of a valid choice. Ow. Also, we haven't checked the pyramid item yet. That's 5 items. Much like when you make a decision to do something, then the more you think about it, the better decision it is. So I can make the right choice for all the wrong reasons. Actually, here I can kind of show off the hookshot dash trick. If you have hookshot and dash on the stairs, which at the same time, you get dash speed, and you can move in like diagonals and everything. Okay, just 20 bucks on there. Now it does end if you jump off a ledge, but then you can just reactivate it instantly. We got super speed. Poke. So many zoomies. Wee. Zora. Come back out and do Graveyard Legend of King's Tomb. If we don't get anything useful from those, then we'll go to Meridia. I'm running out of things to check otherwise. At least for things that would be easy and quick. Yeah, it's one of those things where if Candace Warrior were being so annoying to find, we'd have to have go mode like super early this seed. Have like a really damn good time. But alas, the game does not agree with that viewpoint. Okay, apparently there's just enough in the water where I couldn't dash. Water's weird that way. 2 more checks. Also, yeah, getting hit by enemies also cancels out the dash speed, which is unfortunate. But it's still pretty easy to reapply if you need to, so I just like to go for it. Just because it feels fun. Zoom. Zoom. And boop. Boop one of the tentacle pouch's many sweeps. Alright, so King's Tomb you normally have to open by basically like dashing into it, but you can kind of manipulate the way that the game treats dashing. You can basically hold the sword out to the side, press the dash button as you're walking into it, and it still opens up, so you don't have to worry about going through the bonk animation or anything. As long as you're dashing adjacent to it, that's all the game really checks for. Actually, we still have a Dark Cross to check, too. It might not be a bad idea to get as well while we're here. And going through the back is actually the quick way to get to it, I think. Nah, just power bombs. Yeah, usually I collect power bombs up to like 15 or 20 total of them. After that, I just completely forget about them because they're not really useful beyond that point. I should not have went back here. Okay, so get back into position. Actually, there's also bonk rocks out here, too. I think that's legitimately like 5 checks I just added onto this path because I realize they're all nearby. Yay for accidentally picking the good path. Okay, so there is technically still Bombo's tablet we could check. Actually, that's actually both tablets. Okay, I did not want access to more checks game, I just wanted a specific check. You're doing me wrong here. That was not the right action. That's a little too early. Unfortunately, the tablets in this game aren't as really quick to get to. I'm less inclined to try to get those before going to Meridia. Okay, that's the problem with trying to say that for later on, is that you forget that you don't even need to do a check. Because you can actually basically count the checks in the entire escape sequence, and if you know that only the map is available, you know you don't need to go into Dark Cross. Alright, so let's just head to Meridia. We have a higher density of checks over there at this point. And we'll go in a way that does not require us to actually have speed boosters, since we don't have that. There is technically a trick way to get into the back of Meridia without using the Link to the Past portal, but that requires Ice Beam, which we also do not have. So this is literally the fastest way we can get to Meridia and actually be able to beat it. Yeah, there's one kind of random off little cave entrance over here is where you could go to get to Meridia. In fact, this is actually one of the hardest things that took me to get used to as far as the logic for this rando, is that by going this route, you never need speed booster. Oh, try it again. There we go. Okay, why am I failing the first time? I legit do not know. Why? Why do we do it like this? Squish. I was hoping you dropped a super missile. Unfortunate. Just $20. I'm actually gonna save my supers for the boss. Because we don't have a lot of really good ways of doing damage to him right now. Yeah, if we had an X-ray beam, we'd actually be able to do the microwaving of Dragon, which makes the fight so much quicker and easier. But alas, we're not allowed to do any cheesing of any kind. I felt like a pretty good series, actually. Okay, so do this, we can clear out all the little sticky stuff. Okay, so we're gonna try to do a little speedrun trick here. We need to be able to get speed booster going. I tried to get it. Ah. Oh, right, I don't have speed booster. Duh. I was literally just saying I didn't have speed booster. There we go. Yeah, otherwise just like barrage with like a bajillion missiles. That's all you really need. I'm definitely gonna try to get some supers back from the drops here. Those are the crystal. Actually, we have both red crystals. It's possible that the Pyramid Fairy might have our Castlevania. That I did not think of, and I wish I did. Yeah, we just have to live with the decisions that we made. Alright, so since we have to check literally everywhere to find this one item, we're going to be going to every, even like slightly off-path check at this point. And that includes plasma right now. Ah, I was trying to like jump just before I hit him so I get the screw attack to work, but apparently I suck. I didn't jump. I'm almost expecting Speed Boost to be at this particular check, because it would have almost really no function at this point, with the exception of unlocking like 2 specific checks. Neither of which I really feel like going to right now, because they're both kind of out of the way. And thankfully, since we at least have screw attack, we can take care of all the enemies from very easily. Okay, just a bug map. That has absolutely no function in this rando. The only cool thing you can do with Bugnet in this game is use that to actually fight Aghanim with. That's some basically like swag combat. You actually can use the Bugnet to deflect the fireballs that he shoots and bring it back to him and damage him that way. And that works in the vanilla game too, which is the funny bit. Yeah, even back in the early 90s, they knew how to be. Here, because we're doing a speed burst, we have to go through the slow kind of upper path, but it does also give us access to an item, so not the worst thing. Yeah, it's just 5 rupees, we don't need that. Ow. Actually, one thing that does suck is that there's going to be 2 items that we don't have access to, because we don't have Speed Booster here. Or Speed Booster. I think I might have said something like Spooster, because my vocals are weird. But we can at least get a sneak peek at this item. Okay, just Super Missiles, so we probably don't need that check. Alright, so we'll do a save here, because there's 2 different paths we can check for items, and trying to go back around without resetting would take literally several minutes. And we do not want to spend several minutes on anything at this point. Alright, so let's hope that we find Cadence Mario in here. That would definitely be the ideal. Nothing. Alright. So left side is bad. Arm pumping. Alright, if we can find at least grapple beam here, I'd accept that, because that would give us access to 1 more check in this area. Which, granted, is slow as hell, but it would give us access to another check. E-Tank, don't need that. Bombs, damn it. Alright. So we have to check the regular Meridia at this point. Which, again, like I mentioned before, I'm kind of expecting Meridia to be the answer, since we had access to that so early on. I love Space Jump. It's so amazing. Yeah, the only problem with this route is that we have to go back all the way to literally the proper start of Meridia. One thing I do like about Space Jump underwater too is that you can actually do the jumps a lot quicker than you would outside of water. We got missiles there, art piece there. On to be good. Ice Beam. We lost the Space Jump. Okay. I will definitely take Ice Beam, because that will in fact allow us to do the, at least another skip in Durian. We go to fight Mother Brain. $1. I in fact would not buy that for $1. I would ask for an immediate refund. Big jump time. These will be the last set of checks we can do in Meridia. Assuming Meridia is the answer. If not, then we are kind of in trouble, because we have a lot of stuff that we don't really want to be doing. Oh, we do not need Spacer. As long as you have Plasma, you do not need Spacer. Because they cannot be equipped together, and Plasma is just, there is no reason not to have Plasma. It does more damage, plus it goes through enemies. Whereas Spacer has like a little bit of extra range, technically, but Wave also gives you that range as well, so there's really no point. Mushroom might be the answer. I can't turn down the possibility. I thought I had good movement there. Okay, so in Metroid we can still check. We can do the X-ray check. What else can we do in Metroid right now? I don't think really much else of anything. We pretty much checked everywhere else. We've done everything in Lower Norfair. We've done everything in Upper Norfair. We're missing 2 checks in Meridia because we don't have Speed Booster or Grapple Beam. Get... Yeah, if it's not going to be here at the X-ray, it's got to be in Zelda somewhere. It could be in one of the tablets. It could be in the Swamp Palace Big Key or Swamp Palace, yeah, Swamp Palace Big Chest. Squish everything. Nope. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else we can really check on the way to like anywhere without Speed Booster or Grapple. Yeah, we need that to Zelda. I don't know why I shot the beam there. I literally went against everything that I needed. Alright, so... We've already gone through most of Skull Woods, so that's not really going to be the answer, I don't think. So there's like 1 check left over there. I think Turtle Rock might be our next best bet, honestly, because there's like 6 checks we can do over that area. And we can beat it, because we do have... Oh no, actually no, we can't. We can't even get in there. Okay, that's actually one good thing about not having Kana Samari, is that you know for a fact that Turtle Rock is not going to be the answer. Because you can't even get into Turtle Rock without Kana Samaria. So, it's probably going to be just like an overworld check somewhere that's going to have it. Let's go ahead and check... Yeah, we'll check the tablet on Death Mountain first since we're already here. No reason not to. Oh, wait a minute. No. Oh, it could be Ganon's Tower. Because we have all 7 crystals. What we need to beat is a Metroid dungeon. Okay, I'm glad I thought of this. We're definitely checking the tablet first, so there's no reason not to, but yeah, it could legitimately just be in Ganon's Tower. Yeah, this is the first time I've come across this... Why'd I do that? This is the first time I've come across this particular scenario, because this is still a relatively new update that I haven't played necessarily a lot of seeds of. But yeah, this is definitely a big thing for me to realize as a possibility. Yeah, there's pretty much always something to learn when you play a randomizer. Updates or otherwise. Let's go ahead and just trigger the opening first, if we can. should be a safe place. Okay, yeah, it is. Vanilla Ether. Huh. Not very often you see a vanilla medallion, of all things. Alright. So, let's do... Yeah, so unfortunately we can't really go mode Ganon's Tower, which does kind of suck, because normally one of the kind of big beams is trying to guess which chest the big key is going to be in. As soon as you find the big key, normally that's all you need to do for the rest of the game. That's like the last key item. In this case, however, the big key is not as relevant as it should be. It's all about finding the actual cane. I mean, theoretically, you could still do the, like, guess the big key location game. But yeah, it just feels less meaningful when you're still searching for another item. I did not mean to plant that bomb. All this money and not a single use for it. That's a lot of small keys, too. Almost like they're going out of style. Okay, so I still just have the blue one. I did that wrong. Alright. I was too caught up in trying to figure out if I had the right boomerang or not that I kind of screwed up the actual trick there. I think I can still do this with... No, I can't, damn. Alright. Yeah, I know perfectly well how to do that room with the red boomerang, but just not so much with the blue boomerang. Or bloomerang, as it's called in colloquial circles. Oh yeah, I thought that was way too far for a second. Another bit of iframe abuse. Whee! Yay, full heal? No, I would actually laugh if we got the big key in the last possible chest available within our normal, like, first 22, and then the case Mario ends up being inside the big chest for Ganon's Tower. That would actually amuse me. I don't want to see it, but it would amuse me. What I want to see is, I want to see Cane of Samaria, and then immediately after that, the big Ganon's Tower big key. By far be the primary best route. Also, yeah, you can just bonk over that little portal there if you do it the timing right. Kind of a fun little trick. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to go to the right side regardless. Yeah, going to the right side is usually a lot slower and doesn't have really many items, so you try to avoid doing the right side. But yeah, I don't think we're going to get a choice in the matter this time. Oh, there's a big key. We can at least get the big chest. And from there, we'll just go right to right side. Just missiles. Oh wait, no, we can't go through those 4 chests, because that also needs a Cane of Samaria. Okay, so we know where it's not going to be then. Cane of Samaria is always a weird item to have as your go mode. Oh god, okay.
You were not supposed to go alive. Hey, actually made damage to us. Nice. Wow, those guys actually cooperated this time. That is rare. Okay, that guy did not cooperate. He's supposed to get hit by the dash and hitting the spikes and just instantly die. He was insubordinate. But at the same time, it's usually better actually to take some damage because you don't want to have sword beams, because they always just get in the way. Sword beams only ever do the fighter sword damage, and they always basically take damage presses because they're hitbox over the actual sword itself. Yeah, you got the quick kill. What did I get hit by? Okay. Oh, and I can't do the quick trap for this room because I don't have the Canis Maria. That's annoying. I have to do this the noob way. I don't like the noob way. Ah, crap. Yeah, the wrong one spawned in first. Get the frog. Oh, that's not the right direction. Too early. I'm too fast. Gotta be slower. Yeah, we don't need that key. Okay, there's freaking speed booster. Oh god, that means I actually might still be in Metroid then. That's annoying. Come on. Are you serious? There. He got himself unstuck. I'm not proud of you anymore. I am disappointed. Yeah, he was just in a weird position for most of that first round. Okay, that almost worked. Okay, now it's just a regular slash again. Why? Why do you do this to me, game? I'm trying to enjoy you. Okay, somehow that works. There we go. Third time's a charm. Alright, so we still have more exploring to do. I'm not sure what checks I want to do first, really. We've already done the shovel check. Probably get that marked off. My tracker. We've done that. We still need to turn the mushroom, and that's actually something we can do real quick. And that was a horrible position. There was no way to get multiple hits in. Okay. Hopeful there. I've had worse. Ah, damn. 2 more hits. You spawned really early. Okay, that works. Alright, so I don't want to route this. So definitely go to Bush and Chop first. I think we might do the Bombos tablet before we go back to Metroid. That's not going to take too much time to do, relatively. also this Pyramid Fairy, which I should probably do first. Like other pulmonate land gastropods, the majority of land slugs have 2 pairs of feelers, or tentacles, on their head. And now you know. You're welcome. Yeah, Blind had a pun from later on I actually forgot to read out. Didn't remember to do that going forward. I should not have done that. Okay. I guess I'll take at least 1 more hit. Oh, yeah. Oh, you have to spawn that. I think we should have enough hits by this point, though. Yeah, that's enough. Just in case I can get us an early slower on him. I'll get this ready. Yeah, infinite light glitch. So as long as you light that torch there before the other light goes out, you can actually make the right torch stay up, or stay up infinitely. Oh, why am I bad? Okay, why am I being bad in this game right now? Okay, that's how we need it. Okay, yeah, light the left torch before the right one goes out, the right one will stay lit permanently. Which saves you on magic usage, as well as makes it easier just to keep getting vulnerable to becoming vulnerable. Yes, that is the mechanic. Make him vulnerable to becoming vulnerable. That is in fact not inaccurate. Okay, so let's do the Pyramid Fairy first. Actually, that doesn't really help. Well, actually, first we'll do the super quick check, since we have to use the flute anyway. Turn the mushroom in. Yeah, there are some times where it's still faster to actually open up the menu rather than using the L and R buttons to select your items. It's not often, but it does exist. Okay, just arrow capacity. We have no reason to buy any potions anymore, because we don't really need to fight anything like significant. Okay, so we'll do the Bombos tablet first, and then we'll come up and do Pyramid Fairy. Barring that, then we'll start doing the speed booster checks in Metroid. Which, of course, all 3 of those are as far apart from each other as they can possibly be, almost. Which is the sucky bit. Come on, Canis Mario. That's not Canis Mario. Head over to get the big bomb ready to open up the pyramid. Then here's a couple things I can kind of show real quick in regards to the way the followers work, at least this particular bomb. So normally, if you press the A button at all when the bomb is following you, it'll actually like prepare to set itself off, so you can't actually do like dash or anything like that. However, if you use hookshot to latch onto something, and you manage to start dashing before the bomb catches up with you, the game will let you dash just fine. And bring the bomb with it. That's one little trick to get through there faster. We're going to clear this out just to make sure these guys don't bug us. Another thing you do is you dash up this way. Notice we left the bomb, the timer is counting down. Over this way, do a couple screen transitions, For whatever reason, if you do a screen transition when the timer is at 0 and the bomb is not in your possession, it'll just give you the bomb back. I have no idea why this works. I just know that it does. The game's like, oh here, you dropped this. I'm like, cool, thank you. You are too kind. Well, that feels underwhelming. Can't think of anything else here we can really do. At least not offhand, other than like the one check. Well, 2 chests in Swamp, but I think one of them might just be like a small key or dungeon item. We could do this Swamp Pat. Or did I say Skull Woods before I meant Swamp? Or I don't know what I'm saying anymore. So Skull Woods is one that has 2 chests left, but one of them might just be like a dungeon item. Oh, we haven't done the ship PVs yet, which is literally right up here. This might be an easy game. It is not an easy game. Alright, so we have to do the speed booster checks. So there's one in the shaft down here down to Retro Mother Brain. There's another one over by where the Spore Spawn boss area is. And then there's like the one check we weren't able to see in Meridian that requires speed booster. Those are all that are currently available. Yeah, there's technically like speedrun trick ways to be able to get across here. I like the good old vanilla way because it's actually the safest. $20. This wasn't it. Yeah, we can do this again. Alright, so then what else? Is there anything else in Metroid we can do without grapple? Is the other question. I don't think there is. I think we got everything else otherwise. Because grapple would give us access to the vanilla spring ball check. I'm pretty sure that's the only thing we would have left here. Yeah, at least once we do find the item that we're looking for, it's actually going to be relatively quick to get everything back into place order. Probably take like maybe 10-15 minutes tops. So we just need to finish up Meyer, which all we have to do is just go straight to the boss. Go Turian, which is usually about 7-ish minutes. Ah, damn. This is why Ice Beam does kinda suck sometimes. That's not what I want to do. Okay, just super. So that's not gonna be it. Head back to Meridia, I guess. We've already checked X-ray, we've checked everything on the way to and within Rex ship. I'm trying to think of anything else that might be even like slightly more convenient. I'm having trouble. Yeah, we've definitely already done everything in Craig's area. That's not exactly much of an accomplishment. Because as soon as you enter Craig, you can pretty much get everything there. You can get it all easily. Oh, I did that way too early. Can't forget my way, fish. Oh god, why? That was slightly embarrassing. Okay, so if it's not going to be Cane of Samaria, I want it to be Grappling Beam, so we can just immediately do the Spring Ball check. Just like write that off our checklist. And of course it's nothing useful. So I think that's pretty much everything for... Actually, yeah, since there's nothing useful here anyway. Let's just reset. We came in here with nothing that we haven't already gotten. Because every time you go back and forth between either from Link to the Past to Metroid or Metroid to Link to the Past, the game does do a save for you. So as soon as you do a game transition, you've already saved all your progress, so you don't need to worry about anything that way. This way we can just go back to Zelda faster. Start doing our even worse checks over there. So, which check is the least worst? Since we're nearby, let's go do Swamp. Yeah, Swamp would probably be the worst case scenario out of all this, because it takes so long to actually just get inside Swamp Palace, because you have to redo the dam every time you leave the screen from the Swamp Palace entrance. This actually won't be as bad to get through as I thought, because everything's already open. And like a lot of just the process of opening the dungeon what takes the most time. Yeah, maybe doing this check wasn't as bad as I really turned out to be. Actually, yeah, it's only like 30 seconds. If I realized how quick this actually was, I would have done this earlier. Oh, why? I made a bad decision. Okay. So that is definitely at least a lesson for future, is that doing the big key chest after beating the dungeon, especially with boots, does not take nearly as long to do as it seems. I went to the wrong location. Painful lessons have been learned. Well, let's see if I can do the spooky glitch at least. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, the full name of the trick is the spooky action at a distance trick, which allows you to use the AoE range on the fire rod in ways that don't really make physical sense. Like, you can use the AoE from that to basically trigger switches that are not even on the screen by firing at something like 2 feet in front of you. It's kind of silly. And for some reason, the little blade that those guys shoot counts as an enemy, so until that goes off screen, the doors don't open. Which is one of the little weird things about some of the ways this game works. Nah, we don't need magic. Alright, let's see if I can get this activated. So this is a trick I'm still not very consistent with, personally, so it's possible I don't even really get to show it off. Nope, I did not get it. So, the funny thing about this trick is that one of the ways that you can deactivate the glitch, because what you do to set it up, is you can either move, like when you flute to the rock location in Light World, basically when you flute to the 6th spot, if you move downward and get the bird to basically fall off the map on a specific, kind of, I think it's an X-axis, you can basically trigger the Fire Rod AoE to be of kind of a funky range. I forgot I didn't need to hit that. And the other way you can set it up would be to basically take a Samaria block and then just toss it into the pit just before you come down into the dark room. And once you get it activated, one of the things that deactivates it is the Cane of Samaria, which you need to plant in that spot there in order to progress further. But if you have like certain other types of sprites, like I think the shine from the silver arrows is one of them, the dust kicking up from the boots is another one of them. If you have one of those on the same screen when you place the block, for some reason that does not cancel out the trick. I don't really know all the details behind it because there's like a lot of like kind of like sub-code level kind of things going on with it. But yeah, so it's possible to lose that trick, and if you don't do that setup on that spot right, you can kind of lose it. And it would have saved probably like maybe 20-ish seconds by not having to go through like a couple screen transitions or popping a wall. Thank you, this boss is a pushover with the silvers. Yeah, this is the boss that takes more than one silver to kill. For bosses that actually do take damage from bows. Alright. Now we can actually go. So save to make sure we actually qualified the items being picked up. Then one good thing I do like about what the developers put in for this is that when you're in the middle of saving and quitting, the game will not let you do the LR select start reset until after it is absolutely for certain done a save, so you can't accidentally like corrupt your save at all. Now for the sake of getting super missiles, I'll go ahead and go down here. I don't think we necessarily really need to refill on supers, but it's gonna be quick enough. I'm not really gonna worry too much about it. It's always nice to just have them available too. Oh, that did not work. Sometimes the simplest movement is the most fun movement. Yeah, see if you can watch for the number on the door up here. Oh, it doesn't show on the... Okay, so I guess when it's set, it doesn't show the number. But yeah, so when the number of boss tokens is random, there will be a number in front of that door just before the statue room. That'll tell you how many boss tokens you need. Oh, why'd you fire that way? Bloop, bloop, bloop. Hurry and go bloop. Alright, so there is a trick that I will be trying to do called Baby Skip, but it's one that I've actually never been able to do successfully myself. But eventually I'm going to try it, so I'm always going to go for it, but I'm just going to assume I'm not going to get any damage down ahead of time. And no Eddie. They will just pick random ones to be like, okay, you're my bed now. Please enjoy. you're taking out reserves to get, let me get potentially lower, I don't want to take the risk. That one, actually, that's pretty cool. Okay, that didn't work. I got the baby skip at least. But yeah, there's actually a way you can control the movement of the baby Metroid, because he kind of like flies around you and tries to get as close to you as much as he can. If you jump around in the right motions, you can actually make sure he never touches you, and you can actually shoot these little platforms open and get through without him ever touching you. Which does save time, but it's a very difficult thing to get set up. No applause. Also, one of the other small glitches in the game, if you activate one of these little platform things here, and then menu before the text comes up, you can actually move around while it's still recharging you. Not a big time save, but just a little fun kind of thing you can do. Katie, why? Why you like this? Super to the face. Alright, so Zebetite skip. I don't have a quick way to describe how this works, but you can basically, like, abuse... Okay. It's a little funky sometimes, but you can actually abuse iframes to be able to get through that first little kind of fleshy-looking door there, and prevent all the other gates there from even spawning. I think the camera's in a funky position before, so yeah, you can use iframes to get through there. And yeah, none of these other gates spawn, so you can just go through these pretty clearly. Now, one thing that's important that you do have to turn off screw attack in order to make that work, because screw attack does kind of alter the way your iframes work, which is how that entire trick is based on. So that'd be one of the few cases where it's kind of a good thing not to get screw attacks, and you don't need to worry about turning it off. So I love how two of those little pellet shots actually block my super missiles. We have 20 shots with a fully charged full beam combo. It'll be enough to get Mother Brain into final boss mode. Also, we want to stay above 70 tanks, which will help us set up for a trick called stand-up glitch, which we can use to basically go... Oh, this is a little bit on the nose. Yeah, I'll go wonder once the time actually comes. Okay, so what we do is you have to have at least 7 fully tanks. Let Mother Brain hit you with the first beam. And then once you fall down, you basically button mash up to get fast as quickly as you can. Start damaging yourself down to less than 1 E-tank. And you want to make sure she has at least 1 attack if she gets in before doing this. Because if she doesn't attack, then you put yourself into this NE value before that point. The game will... actually, the game will not soft lock. The game will not register the progression of the scene, and her next beam will kill you. I've had this happen several times, and after end up dying to it, I figured out what the cause was. Yeah, we have to make sure that she gets attacking before you damage yourself down to below an attack. That's what triggers her next attack. And now we can use this. So once she turns fully gray, she'll be actually vulnerable to her phase 3 damage. We can actually be doing damage to her while the Metroid is giving us our health. So there are 2 specific points you want to be in the air for. The first point is when she fires her beam that then gets interrupted by the big Metroid. And the second one is about a second or so after the baby detaches from Mother Brain. If you're on the ground at either of those times, you will be locked down into the crouching and then weakened animation. You won't be able to move. Otherwise, you can move freely around and just body her with your fully charged beams at your discretion. It's a little hard to get sometimes because you really can't see where your beams are, and the baby Metroid does kind of block some of your shots, I think. But yeah, this is actually all making the phase 3 go by faster. If I do enough damage, you'll actually see her change color before the fight. Yeah, right there. But she just got a little bit weaker in health. Also, action post Samus. Yeah, that's one of the other side effects of stand-up glitch, is that she actually gets into this pose when she first gets her hyper beam. You can actually make it stick like this if you don't get hit. And time to run away. Yeah, this one would be if we actually do with the kill save the animals incentive. This would be the point where the incentive would close, and we have to find out what number is saving or killing the animals. It doesn't take too long to get to the relevant point. that. Jump up. Okay, why did I not get any height from that initial jump? That was weird. We still salvaged it, but that was weird. Oh, I didn't get to do the, So that's another spot where we can do the moonfall trick and give yourself, like, the infinite fall speed. But unfortunately, I moved a little too fast and just kind of ran over the edge. Not that big of a time loss, but it would have been nice to get. Okay, that's not some time. Okay, so we try with that. Also, if you do a duck and then do the diagonal shine spark there, you can actually get on top of this little platform here and make it easier to get back up into this sword. Otherwise, you kind of hit like the underneath, but you have to go like through the platforms to make that work. It's one of the little kind of minor movement optimizations you can do. And if we save the animals, this is what we do. We just go into this little pit here. Act like we're going to get more bombs. Zoom in. Say hello to the animals, bust the wall open, and escape ourselves. Yeah, if we kill the animals, we will not be going down this path at all. It takes like maybe 15 seconds on like a bad run to really take care of. Kind of like that run was. A lot of that movement there could have been better. And that is time. So yeah, that is the Super Metroid / Link to the Past crossover randomizer. With both games beaten. And a lot of unfortunate routing. Because the thing is, if I had actually gotten the Canis of Mario, we could have easily made this like a 3-hour, 5-minute seed. If not even better than that. I spent quite a lot of time doing other checks, and yeah. That's the important thing, is just like one wrong decision can cost you a lot of time. Which is why I have my estimate to be pretty generous. Yeah, so my average is actually about what this time is, because I think my average even before. So our time here is almost 327. My average is 326 about. Yeah, this is about the average amount of time it takes me to do a single one of these seeds, so I'm pretty consistent overall with this. And I think my PB is actually like just under, what was it, like 2 hours, 55 minutes, something like that, because I had like a really good run one day. Where's the thing? Oh, apparently last one is updates available. I should probably look at that sometime. Compare against PB. Yeah, my personal best is 2 hours, 55 minutes, and 2 seconds. I had to see that basically put me in go mode at like, I think 220. And I was able to skip like all the optional dungeons and some like the overworld and stuff like that. Yeah, the seed can go super quickly if it gets like really super nice to you. And then there are some seed where it can just kind of troll you around and make you do like an all dungeon seed. But even then, you know, all dungeons doesn't necessarily take that much more time. And actually, the fact we were able to skip Turtle Rock definitely saved us time too. Because I think even on like a Go-Bo Turtle Rock, that dungeon takes like 5 to 6 minutes to fully complete. That might be a bit of an exaggeration now to think about it, but yeah, it does take time. But yeah, I think that's basically all I got. So yeah, I know at this point, like the end of the run, it'd be time for all the shadow stuff like that, but no, this is just a submission run. Doesn't really matter much at that point, I don't think. But yeah, so hopefully you guys look positively and kindly upon this and give me a chance to do something kind of cool. But yeah, with that, as far as like the rest of the stream goes, that's gonna do it for me for the night. Let's find out what some of the fun stats were for the rando before we go. Yeah, because the randomizer does also show you a lot of like stats. Like here it shows how many door transitions we went through, and it's a Metroid time indoors, time aligning doors. Shows us how much time we spend in each area, which is pretty cool. Like touring, we had almost exactly 7 minutes, which is for me it's kind of slow. I think my best touring was like 6:10, something like that. Shows you how many charge shots you've had, special beam attacks you use, which I don't use any because they're just more too cumbersome for my usage. There's how many missiles, super missiles, power bombs, and regular bombs you've used. Shows you your Link to the Past stats, some which are kind of broken, where if you gain the item in Super Metroid, it doesn't actually track it as what time you collected it. It's one of the oversights I hope they find a fix for soon, so I would like to actually be able to see all the stats for that. Shows you how many boss kills you've had with each little sword. It should give the Ganitar a big key. I think it was 17 for today, but yeah. Just how many saving quests we've done, how many deaths, how many bonks, fairy revivals, time and menus. Transition to Metroid, transition to Link to the Past, time in each game. Eddie, why are you an Eddie? My Eddie is purring. Because he is loved. But yeah, anyway, like I said, so that's going to be it for the night. I'll be back on Thursday with some more Star Wars until the end of time. I think unless I find something else about the game that like frustrates me or something like that, I'll definitely try to finish that off because especially since we're actually in like this last disc of the game now. And then yeah, so after Thursday, more Steam Library Tour on Friday with the game I've actually not played before. That's been on my list for like 2 or 3 years now. So it'd be kind of cool to actually get a first time play on a Steam Library Tour game. We haven't had that in a while. But yeah, so with that, I will see you guys on Thursday at 6 p.m. Central. And until then, have a good night. If I can just find my end stream button. Anyway.